Amazing. Rocky, what is for you?
I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to start a fight.
Sunset shield days so long gone, can't bring them back, no magic wand. Counting white cotton clouds, painted on the blue sky's crowd. And yet somehow that way is baked with eternal hopeful flair. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be a free days of you and me. I'm sailing. I'm sailing. I just can't wait for free days of you and me.
He's been cited by Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, Benny Johnson, Timcast, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and even the U.S. government.
But soon they'll wake up to see the summer sizzle in me.
We're doomed. Will this never end?
Dire wolves back and so are you.
Oh yeah,
Belvedere flying over the moon.
oh yeah.
And everyone's singing just the right tune. Maestro blasting on the jazz flute.
We are all participating in mandatory fun activities.
Jelly bean bonus, every flavor in the bag. Super movie star, but first gotta join SAG.
Keep our eyes open.
Wonder Ken, super friend, where are you? Get a search warrant for the near clear blue.
It's scooping time.
And can't you believe that? We've been waiting on you, can't you see that? Put away the bad things they said to you.
You are a sad, strange little man. Have my
After all, just have to call and say you're some kind of
Because you are the special.
epic. Epic, yeah, that's what you do. I'm talking about epic, it's all you know how to do.
You wake up blue to
Epic, it's on repeat for you. Oh, epic. Epic.
Hear ye, come on, come on. To the never stopping daily strife, and it's called simpler times, they beckon so. Floating on the water with no phone. Can we get away now, find a way now, somehow step out of this stream into a dream of slow it down. Jay says that he remembers a place before the never, ever, ever river severed our tranquility. Counting cars by Highway 30, sitting in the porch swing, guessing colors so poorly. Yeah. Is the next one a blue or red one? Maybe silver, maybe gray. What a way to spend a day.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Lauren, you get up here. Jonas, you go down there. It doesn't really matter. But you know what? I'll even switch with you. Is that better? You guys feel good about that? No, I don't like it.
I don't know.
You go down there. All right. Well, folks, we've got a great Monday show scheduled for you. Welcome to the place where we keep you ahead of the culture curve. Explaining entertainment is what we do. And we do it with a zeal that even the Hollyweirds can feel. Lauren is here with us as well. Lauren, you're looking very dandy. And for those who don't know, Lauren has had an upgrade. Lauren is now in 60 frames per second. The processors are churning. The hamsters are moving faster than ever before.
Yeah, and hoping to be completing some additional upgrades here in the near future. So stay tuned.
Jonas, we've got 3 super chats, and imagine that. Marty O'Donnell is waiting in the background. Legendary composer, not only video games, but so much more, and a congressional candidate running for office. And Jonas, let's run through the super chat so that we can bring him in and start the conversation right away.
Alrighty. First of all, we have Juliet for £2. Evening, WDW Pro Panel and Pro Rights. Evening to you, Juliet.
Good evening.
I feel like even when it's an afternoon show over here, you're still saying evening. I hope you're getting some sleep, Juliet. That's all I'm going to say.
She's everywhere. And Juliet, we hope you're staying cool as well. That heat wave in Europe is no joke.
I'm hearing it's hitting the Midwest as well, but I haven't felt that myself. I thank Lewis Carrier every day of my life. Mark Fields for $2. That's it. You're getting it. Positive vibes.
We got them. We feel them. Thank you, Mark.
Kaylee Oth for $5 American. What's the difference between Supergirl and Morbius? Answer to be determined in 2 weeks. Coincidentally, same amount of time James Gunn has left. Yikes. Hashtag stop dog violence. I almost said James Gunn there, and I would have put
stop crypto from whizzing on the face of Superman anymore. It's a gross film, right?
Are we allowed to spoil this film at this point? I haven't seen it, but I do have a simple question.
There's nothing in it. Go ahead. What do you got?
Would this movie not be solved by just simply taking crypto to a planet with a yellow sun instead?
They said there's a throwaway line they do in the middle of the movie where they say, "We can't move him. It's too dangerous." And that's the whole explanation.
Okay. Kaylee on for $5. I spent Friday watching a rescreen of Showgirls. It had more in the seats than Supergirl, over 60 seats, my showing alone. Well, you know, that has certain aspects that could draw an audience, I suppose.
What's the song Jesse sings in Saved by the Bell?
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Well, we hope you were excited. That's right. All right. Well, Jonas, we've got a special guest tonight. We can't wait to have him on, and we're going to pick his brain about everything with woke and the collapse of its economic strategies. We hope, at least. Jonas, shall you do us the honors and bring him aboard?
Yes, please, everyone. Welcome. Not only is he the man who everyone in my age bracket thinks of him as the composer of Halo, he's also, he was in your brain even before that. He, when working with Mike Salvatore, wrote the unescapable jingle, We Are Flintstones.
1 million strong and growing.
Well, it got to 10 million strong.
10 million strong? Oh, they're like McDonald's. They're selling these things like hotcakes or like vitamins.
I have had the good pleasure of getting to work with this gentleman a little bit more over the last month or so, and it's been a pleasure, and it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Mr. Marty O'Donnell.
Well, hello. You know, guys, I want to say how much I appreciate it. This is the first time I've actually watched your show from the very, very top, which was fascinating. All the cultural references, all the little doodads is wonderful.
What a word, fascinating.
But I'm sort of shocked that there's no Halo references in there at all. No Master Chief, no monks chanting, no nothing. I'm a little disappointed.
If there's one thing we've been told over the many years of doing this show now, it's that we need more Gregorian chant.
I think that's always been my philosophy, and it's worked.
Plus,
I want to thank everybody that I'm sure you've told them all, but all the super chats go straight to my campaign. I think that's wonderful.
Every single dollar, every single cent. Jonas, did he actually say this? Is that part of the agreement here?
All I did was I promised that I would work in Kill-tacular somewhere in the show.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I love being on your show, and I appreciate you asking me on. And this will be a lot of fun.
It is.
Lauren, I think Lauren, I don't think we've been on together before, so it's nice to meet you.
No, we were on once before, but I think
of course we were. I remember that. Like I remember so well. I was just testing your memory. I'm sorry.
So clearly, I made an impression.
Lorna's our Star Wars guru. Now, Marty, it just so happens I wasn't faking this. When you and I started talking about you coming on the show, I said, yeah, yesterday we were doing my once a month thing where I get a lot of guys together and we play Halo.
Yeah.
It seems like I must be faking that because every time you reach out, I say, oh, yeah, yesterday I had all the guys over. But it's just been coincidental. We discovered something while we were playing Halo 1 or Halo CE. And I had not noticed this in the 20 plus years we've been playing the game. The overshield and the invisibility are literally just eyeballs colored blue and orange that are staring straight up. And you're never looking straight down on them. So you never see that it's literally just an eyeball texture. Whose eye is that, Marty? Is that your eye? Has it always been there in Blood Gulch?
You can tell.
The things that we learn, and Chiron is still completely unplayable. I just want you to know.
Chiron, I never figured it out. It's funny. The guy who made it, he said, Marty, it's just one layout, and those are not portals. They're just doors you walk through, basically, and they never change. So every time you go through the one, you're always on the other side of that door. And he showed me the map layout from on top, and I'm like, oh, well, that's actually really easy. But I cannot know. I have no idea where I am when I'm playing that.
Well, the problem is every single room is nondescript. Like if they were color coded or something, I could figure it out. Yeah. But because they're just the same texture, the same thing in slightly different, formations, man, it's just camp with a shotgun and wait, and nobody wants to move from their spot.
That's exactly right. That's
right.
I think Jonas, Chiron might be the worst multiplayer map of all time. Frankly,
well, we better not tell him. He was
for Halo. Yeah.
He was very proud of it. Jonas, we've got a few more super chats, and I'd like to get into the talk because, we got a lot to say about socialism, wokeism, and what it did to Bungie and other companies.
Kalioth for $5 to welcome Marty. We need hooded, headless, sword-wielding monks summoning Cthulhu to save the world from the 4 seasons of Sizzle.
Well, I understand a lot of that. The 4 seasons of Sizzle, that must be something unique to your show. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Okay. It's best you not know. I promise. You'll regret it. You'll regret it when you do.
Yeah, remember, I am in the middle of a campaign, so some of these things could get out and be used as oppo research by my opponent. So,
well, it is quite the boys' club tonight here.
Okay, well, you got to be careful. I said that one time and got in trouble. So,
yep. Kamchi for $5. Marty, what are the odds that Microsoft will sell Halo and other IP after their massive failed attempt to revive Xbox and keep focusing on AI slop bubble?
Wow. Apparently, this person does not like AI. I can see that. I don't know. I have no idea, honestly. I would have a hard time believing that Microsoft will sell Halo. But it's possible. They've got, Phil's no longer there. I don't really know anybody who's there, and I have no idea what they're doing. I really don't. I don't get it.
I think it's fascinating to me that they separated Bungie and Halo before selling Bungie to PlayStation. Well, not fascinating. We all know why they did it. And now,
well, no, we were the ones who separated ourselves from Microsoft.
Okay.
So I have a book coming out that really is. The book is finished. It will be coming out at the first of the year, and I will be explaining my perspective on everything that's happened in the rise and non-rise of Bungie.
And here we are, folks, to spoil the entire book.
Exactly. No, we got ourselves out. That was actually one of the things I was proudest of was after Halo 1 shipped. In 2002, 2003 time period, I was the one, as the oldest guy on the team, I was the one who said, look, we should actually get ourselves back out of Microsoft, own our own IP, and, be successful on our own. And I was able to convince the rest of the team, the leadership especially, that we should start working on that. So it was either Microsoft was going to give us a piece of Halo 2, or we were going to just walk. And that's the beginning of how that all went down. It took us quite a number of years before we were free. We got free in July of 2007. So officially, Halo 3 was shipped by an independent Bungie, and Microsoft was the publisher. Now, remember, Microsoft had bought the IP, so we couldn't walk with the intellectual property. We had no ability to walk with Halo, but we could walk with Bungie if we convinced Microsoft that we were the ones to make sequels, and we should be paid to make the sequels, and we should participate in the profit of the sequels. And then they would give us Bungie back, and we could do what we wanted. So I was very proud of that.
The press at the time reported that there was a fatigue with making space shooters, and then you guys went straight to Destiny. And I thought, well, that narrative's cooked, eh?
So I mean, the thing is this: you get one person interviewed by one person in the press, and that one person said, "Yeah, I'm tired of making Halo," and then suddenly that gets blown into everybody at Bungie is tired of making Halo, and that wasn't true. And I actually was not tired of making Halo. I loved making Halo. I could have seen us doing that, forever. But there were some guys on the team who were kind of tired of making space shooters, but not everybody was. And so when we got ourselves independent, at first we thought we were going to be making some sort of sci-fi fantasy mix, leaning much more heavily into the fantasy. If you see some of the very earliest concept art for Destiny, it was a fantasy thing. That's where the term the tiger came from, because we had this cool space tiger. I don't know why we thought it was cool, but that's the code name ended up being Tiger for Destiny.
Well, who doesn't hear the pitch of a space tiger and go, yeah,
space tigers?
Can we get a T-Rex too? Folks, speaking of space tigers, he'll be your space tiger out there in Nevada. Marty, we've got the website up right now. The URL for folks who want to know is martyforcongress.vote. That's a fancy schmancy at the end. martyforcongress.vote. If you're in the Nevada area, get over there and make sure that you're aware of representation opportunities coming up at the November date for you. Marty, anything you want to say to the folks before we dive into the conversation about Bungie?
Yeah, go to Marty for Congress. Believe it or not, you could go to .com and you'll still get to my website. So it's Marty for Congress is all you have to remember. .com, .vote, doesn't matter. Sign up and you can text me or email me directly and I will respond. I promise.
There you go. All right, folks, let's dive into the conversation. Jonas, are you ready?
I believe I am ready, unless you'd like to read more super chats.
Just do Joppies. I see Joppy up there, and I'd like to give the answer to Joppy.
Joppy for 200 Swedish crowns. Member panel after this. I set my alarm clock to when this stream started. I'd love more sleep, but if it's a panel stream, then I'll push through. That's dedication.
The good news, Joppy, is because of the tight turnaround we have from tonight to tomorrow, the member stream is going to be tomorrow. So after we finish the regular show tomorrow, we're going to do the member stream. And for those of you interested in the VIP level stuff, Club 23 will be doing that on Wednesday. We'll have the announcement tomorrow of what time on Wednesday. But the member exclusive panel is tomorrow after the show. So we can't wait to see you there, Joppy. Hope you will join us. If you need to do a time conversion, my guess is it'll be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the U.S. East Coast, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, New York City. That's your time zone. Tomorrow.
So 200 Swedish whatevers is what?
200 Swedish crowns.
Crowns. It's a what? $2? Okay.
It's kroners, but for some reason,
they don't like it when we say that.
Yeah. I don't know.
They prefer that we not say kroners. They always want us to translate it into crowns, so that's why.
Okay.
All right. Jonas, that's the answer for Joppy. Looking forward to having Joppy back on the show. And folks, it's time. Let's go. Let's talk about Bungie, but even more broadly, is there something ideological? Is there something political here? Is there perhaps a whiff, a sniff of the end of the woke era, or at least the economics thereof? We'll talk about it. Marty's ready to bring us there. It's the first story. Let's go. Just like Blizzard, Bungie is one of the companies everybody thinks of when they're thinking about gaming. And just like we've seen in so many of these studios, Bungie is saying goodbye to some folks. But it comes on the heels of saying goodbye to the geniuses that made the studio what it was. Marty O'Donnell, who's on here with us right now, composer extraordinaire, Halo, Destiny, Flintstones, everything else you can imagine. He says, have we learned any lessons? And Marty, you said this to the statement from Bungie. They say, with great sadness. And sorry, Asmongold pops up on the right, and I just... With great sadness, we are announcing a reduction in force as we reorganize Bungie. As the leaders of Bungie, past and present, we recognize Destiny 2 fell short of expectations these past several years. Following our final content update to Destiny 2 and with our future project still in the early incubation, we unfortunately could not continue operating at our previous size. We know this decision has a profound impact on the people affected, their families, friends, and teammates. While these changes are necessary to best position the studio now and for the future, that does not lessen the difficulty of this moment or the impact it has on those affected. Later, we will share more about the future with you all, but today is not that day. Today, we wish to extend our gratitude and compassion to every member of the Bungie team who has been impacted and to those who remain. We hope you will do the same. Now, it's not just Bungie. Grum's Mark Kern, the man who led the project that was and became the original World of Warcraft, post this today, I believe. It's so over. Quote, this will likely be the largest single layoff event in gaming history, unquote. Xbox. List of studio closures has been allegedly leaked from an inside source, according to George Broussard, original 3D Realms Apogee founder. While he won't disclose them, he says on top of the closures, there will be also layoffs at the studios that survived the cut. Xbox is going to be supremely unpopular for a very long time. Like the meteor that took out the dinosaurs, absolutely brutal. The crash is here, boys. All right, Marty, let's talk about it, because everywhere we look, these studios that let go of the geniuses, often because of political or ideological reasons, they are suffering mightily. And I'd like to start with you on your experience at Bungie, and how did this happen to one of the greats? I mean, you guys made Halo, you guys made Destiny, you were the kings in the gaming space. What happened? Why did it go this way? And I guess, how did you eventually get pushed out of the studio?
Well, this goes back to my metaphor analogy that I like to use, which is be nice to the goose. And the goose, of course, is the goose that lays the golden egg. And once you recognize you have a golden egg, the first thing you should do is look to see who laid this golden egg. And that's the goose you need to be nice to, because you want more golden eggs. That is what I consider to be the true moral of that fable. Most corporations, they focus on the golden egg and think that they can just duplicate the golden egg, in some manufactured way. And they end up getting rid of the people over time. They just don't appreciate the creative people who had first, in some way came together to create whatever it is that was created. And it happens over and over again in corporations. You'll see them wanting to make sequels and wanting to make more things, thinking that all they have to do is find the formula in the golden egg, rather than looking to the creative forces behind what made the golden egg. So the very first thing that happened is, not only did Bungie leave Microsoft, and then we made the mistake, I think, of bringing some Microsoft talent along with us, who ended up working their way into the upper echelons of the company. And eventually, I wasn't the first of the OG Bungies to get let go. So I think in 2011, one of the best lead designers we've ever had, Jamie Griesemer, was let go. Paul Raton was let go. Marcus Lato, who was our art director, and Joe Staten, who was our writer. They were all essentially pushed out of the company.
But why? Was there something that was a unifying force for the reason they were let go, or were these individual circumstances? Did you guys feel a stifling effect as that happened, where you said, wait a minute, it feels like everybody of a certain persuasion, either narratively or worldview or whatever, is kind of being pushed out of here?
I'm sad to say that I was slow to actually realize what was happening, because these things happened, 1 year and then a year later. And there was always like, well, are the circumstances the same? Is there some pattern here? It's sort of like a serial killing that the cops don't realize is being done by the same killer until like the fifth death. the fifth murder, and they say, wait a minute, these things are connected. I don't know exactly if there's a real easy way to say what the connection are between these push outs of the OG Bungie creatives, other than I think there's a lot of, I think the fundamental connection is jealousy.
Well, that goes back to Cain and Abel, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's jealousy and greed. And it, you know, at the time you could say, oh, well, this is a creative difference, or this is, you know, somebody also wanting to move on, but not really, right? I mean, you could look at these individual things, but at some point I started pushing back. I was on the board of directors, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? How is it possible for this to happen? How are we getting rid of, you know, I think I was not happy with the first guy who was let go. And then I fought for a couple of the other guys. And then by the time it got to the fourth guy, which was Joe Staten, I was like, okay, well, that's it. Now I realize I'll be the next. It was just like, it was so inevitable.
Was it the hubris? Was it the hubris that you can replace geniuses, that geniuses are not in fact rare, and that, you know, the top 1% of whatever they're doing is so difficult to find? Was that the hubris, or was it just flat out jealousy? I want his job. He, you know, why should he have it? I deserve it, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, you know, I think you're going to have to read my book.
I knew we were going to run into those. That's okay. We can't wait.
No,
Marty, tell
no,
the folks
actually,
what is the name of the book going to be when it comes out?
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't revealed that yet.
Oh, well, I apologize.
But I can reveal now. I think it might be I could reveal that.
That's up to you. We shall not push.
Okay, well, the name of the book, which I think we're going to be talking about very shortly anyway, is Truth and Reconciliation.
Oh, I love them. That's great.
Subtitled The Great Journey of the Creator of the Creators of Halo.
That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect.
A composer's memoir. So anyway, yeah, to me, it's like, of course, I have to reference some of the cool parts of what I loved working on with Halo. It's sad to me because the thing is, when I talk about the goose that laid a golden age, it's not about the individual geniuses. It truly is about the creative, collaborative magic that happens, that you can't just automatically. I mean, how many movies have been made with, like, you look at the cast and you say, oh my gosh, this is the greatest cast ever. This is going to be such a great movie. And then it's just horrible. So you can't just put genius people together and know for a fact you're going to get something magic happens. But that's why you look at the golden egg. You look at the egg that's been produced and you go, wow, who did that? And then you say, well, this goose over here that laid this golden egg, let's try to keep this goose intact. Let's try to keep these people together. And let's try to be, all we have to do is be nice to them, and maybe we'll get some more good things. And frankly, I think I'm pretty proud of the what Bungie did. We did Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach. I'm proud of all 5 of those games. I think they were amazing games, and we added more and more people to the team as we went. And I think we had a good system for adding good talent to the team. And then that was the same group that went on to make Destiny, but it was during the Destiny development. And, you know, a lot of people get this wrong too. They think that somehow Activision was the company that was firing these people. I'm not saying Activision didn't have an influence over some of these people leaving. But if the powers that be within Bungie had done the right thing, we wouldn't have decimated the team the way it was. So I blame the folks at Bungie for what happened to Bungie.
So you talk about the golden goose. The way that I sometimes express that is the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule. And so 80% of the success of any given field of entertainment or genre of revenue, honestly, I mean, it goes to anything and everything. 80% of the success comes from 20% of the participants. And then that actually scales so that if you go in deeper into any area, so let's say you look at the top 20%, you say, okay, well, you guys have the 80% of success. Inside that 20%, there's another 20% that has 80% of the success of that group. Yeah. And so Halo had hit the very top of that. I mean, Halo was ubiquitous with gaming. Everybody in about 2003, 2004, 2005, everybody loved Halo. Everybody wanted to play Halo. And so what you say as protect the golden goose, I say, don't fall off the curve. Don't fall off the Pareto principle, because once you get there, it's not always completely obvious how it happened.
Right.
And you should do everything in your power to protect it. Corporations don't seem to understand that. We've watched this now with Star Wars, Star Trek, DC. The Supergirl movie is another example of this, Marty, where they don't protect the whatever it is that makes the thing special. And they don't anticipate that there's a reason that it's special in the first place. They often think, well, it's just a silly coincidence that it's here, and we're going to use it to manipulate it for our goals, for our own social advocations. And it's like, no, there's a reason that this works, and you should actually respect that. You should sit down and think hard about what the heck is it that put this at the top of society, because something psychologically did this on a large scale.
Well, the only place that I would potentially not necessarily disagree with you, but add to what you're saying, and that is that the corporations and even the people within the team that are making this golden egg, it's not that important to try to figure out what the magic sauce is. I think it's more important to realize that it comes from this creative team. And so what you want to do is keep the creative team as happy as possible, or the quirkiness of it, or whatever it is. Just try not to disturb this thing that ended up making the thing.
The magic.
Don't disturb it. Be nice to it. You don't have to pamper it, because pampering might be the thing that will ruin it also. So you have to be just very careful, because geese lay eggs, a lot of white eggs around. All of a sudden a golden egg shows up. Then you look at, okay, what goose laid that, and be nice to that goose. Okay, I've stretched that metaphor.
No, very well said. It's the Michael Jordan analogy, right? You can't replace Michael Jordan, so you better take care of him, and you better make sure he stays on your team. That's the idea.
And as a matter of fact, and we had a decent. I was there, by the way, during the Chicago Golden days. We had a decent coach, but Michael wasn't really getting along with him. And so we got Phil Jackson instead, because Michael wanted Phil Jackson. Yeah. Was he a prima donna? Probably. Maybe there was a little bit of that going on, but it was the right thing to do, because Michael was a one-of-a-kind person. But once you got Scottie Pippen and you got, Dennis Rodman was probably the quirkiest add to that team ever, and it made it just unbelievably magic. So that's to me, that's the key it's the mixture of creative talent that comes together, and then you just got to let them run. I like to talk about if you've seen the original Ben-Hur, there's some great scenes in there about the chariot race and the 5 horses. And the most important thing is to get the right horses in the right position, and then you let them run. So sometimes, you have the wrong horse on the inside and you have the wrong horse on the outside, whatever it is. It's the good leadership is able to recognize the talent and put them in the right positions, and then let them run. And corporations, by the way, struggle with this mightily.
At the risk of stating the obvious, I don't think Xbox would be a brand that anyone talks about, let alone still a system without Halo. In those first few years of the Xbox, there were no games that hit on any level that anyone would talk about.
How dare you, Fusion Frenzy?
Bloodwake.
Marty and I are on the same page. We got this. We're ready to go in the same way.
Oh yeah. You
went with Bloodwake. I went with Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah. Did you play? I played Azaric. Did you guys play Azaric? Do you remember that one?
I don't remember Azaric.
No.
Azaric.
To me, it's like saying that it's like Nintendo without Mario. It's like, yeah, you can mention other things, and yes, that's great, and Nintendo is more consistent across their own brands.
Yes.
I just think, as a Nintendo fan, there was one thing to look over at that Xbox had that Nintendo did not have on any of their systems, and it was Halo.
Yeah.
Which is why I always thought, and I still don't understand it except just incompetence, I always thought, why is there not a single game where we have refreshed all of the original Halo maps? Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo, but we can do Reach. But refresh those maps and put them out as, there's got to be 100 of them. 100 multiplayer maps and just a multiplayer Halo game, and have at it, guys. Go have fun. It's what the Master Chief Collection should have been, and It never became.
Well, I mean, look at well, I'm not going to speak poorly of the
Can I?
the new Halo that's coming out, or the revamped Halo that's coming out. It's mind-boggling to me that they would put the work in to remake the campaign Evolved, but not allow normal original couch co-op and split screen multiplayer and just any multiplayer. Like I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. How do you not include that?
Right. There was this question that came out, and it's so funny watching these news stories that proliferate very quickly, and then they'll get a statement that, is it a clarification or is it correcting a problem that was actually out there? Like there was this story that went viral very quickly of, if you wanted to get Halo Combat Evolved, or whatever they're calling this new one that's coming out,
Campaign Evolved.
this remake, Campaign Evolved, yeah. If you wanted to play co-op on that, it had to be, first of all, it was going to be over the internet, and that both people had to have a PlayStation Plus membership in order to do that, as opposed to get an Xbox or a 360 like I have behind me right now, plug in 2 controllers, or in this case 2 wireless controllers, and just put in the disc and play. We're going backwards when we add in these multi-$100 worth of add-ons in order for 2 people to play this game. And really, that's the nefarious thing when it comes down to it. They're trying to trade.
Go ahead, finish your thought. Sorry.
With all of this money, play it now several $100s, so you feel like you did back in the original moment when you originally played it.
25 years ago, we shipped Halo, and we, barely were able to get multiplayer put into it, believe it or not. We almost cut it, and that's going to be in the book too. But
when you say that, are you referring to the multiplayer mode, or are you referring to co-op, or both?
Both. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, co-op was probably more had progressed further along than multiplayer had at first. So, but there was a point where we might have to cut a multiplayer, and part of it was multiplayer. We thought multiplayer was going to be over the internet tubes, which the Xbox wasn't able to support Xbox Live in 2001. So we thought, well, who's going to bother to lug an Xbox over to their friend's house and connect through, LAN and go through all of that just to play multiplayer Halo? We actually thought that would never happen.
College and military said, we're going to do it, baby.
Yeah. So, I mean, thank God we were completely wrong about what people were willing to do.
How many days would you say you had in the buffer between, and if it's in the book, you want to hold it, but
no,
how close do you think it was cutting multiplayer?
It was literally days away from cutting. The main guy, Hardy LaBelle and Michael Evans, who were the 2 guys who had led Oni, and they were running the Oni team, was going to make something new. They were brought into the office with Jason and Alex, the guys who had founded Bungie, and it was basically like, yeah, we just want you to know that we're going to be cutting Halo multiplayer. And I'm shortening the story up, but Hardy was like, never, over my dead body. I'm going to come in and save this. Michael and I are going to do this thing anyway, which of course is what Alex and Jason wanted to hear. But these guys put a tiny team together because they hadn't been working on Halo directly at that point. And we're talking I think spring of 2001 or summer, maybe early. It was late in the process. And they saved it. They pulled it out. They made it happen. But think about it. Not only did you could plug 2 controllers in and play co-op on one TV with buying one game. You had the game, and if you had it on your Xbox, your friend could come over, and if you had 2 controllers, there it was. You didn't have to spend an extra dime to play campaign co-op. But if you had 2 other friends come over, you have 4 people in the room. If you had 4 controllers, you had 4 players split screen, just like we are looking at each other right now. Mm-hmm. And you could play 4 players split screen without spending another dime. Why, if you're going to do something that's nostalgic and reminds people of what it was like 25 years ago, Why not just do that? Why not give them that again?
Right.
Why
we
is
need
that
to
a problem?
This is not a panel stream. This is a 4-player co-op stream.
And you got to get the trampoline wheel warthog physics in. If that's not the case, I mean, what are you doing really? If you're not bouncing around Blood Gulch, it's not Halo.
I think that we called that Chucky physics, because the guy Chucky Goff was the guy who wrote the physics engine for Halo 1. And I still to this day is my favorite physics engine of all time. It was bouncy, the grenades exploded, and if you had 2 grenades, it was twice the power. If you had 5 grenades, it was 5 times the power. So you could do things that were insane. Which I mean,
people were spending time trying to launch the Warthog into places that it wasn't supposed to go with plasma grenades and all that. You had people coordinating. Hit it with this number here, and then as it goes in the sky, we're going to hit it again. And I mean, the fun back then of just ludicrous things, but that's what makes the nostalgia. Okay, so Marty, let's talk about where Bungie went. Is it your thought that the woke era of gaming that we've been suffering through now for the past, I don't know, 10 years, did that infiltrate Bungie, or is this a separate issue? What happened to Bungie?
It didn't really infiltrate Bungie when I was there, but now remember, I've been gone for an ungodly amount of time. What is it, 14 years now? 12 years. I was fired in 2014, so yeah, 12 years. I haven't been there in more than a decade. So I think I saw just the hint of some of the woke stuff coming in 12 years ago, but it wasn't much. And I'm glad I wasn't there when it happened. But from what I've seen with the pride flags and the BLM flags and the LGBTQ and trans at Bungie groups and all of this stuff that seems to be emphasizing these woke, political correct movements more than emphasizing, here's a game that we want to play and we think you'd like.
Right. I mean, Master Chief at this point.
That's what I think wrecked it. Yeah.
Master Chief to 13-year-olds today is better known for wearing the various colors of whatever month it is that's being celebrated than actually being a cool hero who, goes around with Cortana and stops the Flood and the Covenant, et cetera, et cetera. Now, as you are running for Congress and taking your experience from being a legendary composer and dare I say a legendary designer, because I think you were integrated beyond what most people, assume to just be music. If we look here at what's happening in our world, we've got this from the Democratic Socialists of America, and they have had a number of significant wins in California and New York. And you can see that it says socialism is pride, Democratic Socialists of America. And then on the right side, it says only a socialist future free from the exploitation and domination of capitalism can ensure that LGBTQ plus people are truly safe, supported, and free. Pride is an ongoing struggle, and we carry it forward together. Now, this is why I have said this group, I believe, is just flat out communist. I mean, it doesn't matter what they call themselves. They can call themselves Democratic Socialists. They can call themselves socialists. They can call themselves commies. But if you are fighting against capitalism just flat out, and you're claiming that the only way to save the people that wave the rainbow flag, the only way to save them is to destroy capitalism itself, Marty, you've got a real battle on your hands going into Congress. And it's not just that these are a bunch of crazies. We're watching as companies like Anthropic, that's one of the leaders in frontier models for AI. We're watching as OpenAI are investing in, we believe, these kinds of organizations, these political organizations, and helping them get wins. And this is going to be a big, big thing as we watch the funds coming from the tech sector and perhaps also from gaming. We're not sure. But a lot of that money flowing in to help democratic socialism win. You have a very different vision for the future for the country. And I think if people had been listening to you inside Bungie would be in a better place. What do you think might be a better place for America going forward than what we are watching from some sections of the East and West Coast?
I talk about an existential threat. This is where we are right now. We are on the cliff looking down into the abyss. And the abyss is Marxism. It's anti-Western philosophy. There's a weird alliance of all these groups that are, like to pretend like they're oppressed. So the LGBTQ plus people, the Islamists, the Marxists, they're all together now, acting like they're all together on the same side. They're not on the same side. I mean, this happened in '79 when the communist students in Iran invaded our embassy. Soon to be after they took over, it wasn't long before the mullahs came in and the Ayatollah came in, and those communist students either converted to Islam or they were beheaded. So half of them were beheaded and the other half became the IRGC. So Islam and socialism, communism, Marxism, Islam and communism do not mix at all, but they'll be partners for a while in order to overthrow the West. And the West is the West is Judeo-Christian with Greek philosophy. That's what the West is. That's the history of the West for thousands of years. That's the lineage we have. That's what the Constitution is based on. That is what the oath of every office holder in the United States has to take, that oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Marxists, Islamists are antithetically opposed. They are in complete opposition to the creeds of the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. They should not be allowed to take the oath, because if they put their hand on whatever they believe in and raise their hand up and they say they're taking an oath, they're lying. And it says in the Constitution that you cannot take the oath if you have mental reservations about what you're saying. Now, are they lying? Yes, they're absolutely lying, because what they want to do is change the fundamental nature of our country and the way we govern ourselves. This is a very fragile thing. This is the only country in the history of the world that has this exact kind of creedal institutional government, that it's a constitutional republic. It's not a democracy. And to put the word democratic socialism, to put the word Democrat in front of socialism is the same as putting the word Democrat in front of the word murderer. It doesn't change the fact that you're a murderer just because you're a democratic murderer.
Yeah.
If you're a socialist, you're a Marxist. If you're a Marxist, you're a communist. It's all the same thing. They're the opposite of liberty-loving, freedom-loving Western government, which is what the United States is. So yeah, that was a long answer to I am ready to fight these godless communists.
It's a fascinating thing to think about it. Marxism is about destruction of what the West holds dear. There's nothing built with Marxism. In fact, the only claim that they have is that capitalism is a tool of oppression, and they would like to say, no, that's the government's job. We can't have corporations oppressing you. We would rather have the government be the only one that's allowed to oppress people.
Yeah, which is what's so strange about these, especially these tech companies and some of these game companies that are willing to join into this progressive woke idea, because the corporations will disappear into the melting pot of godless communism. I mean, it'll just all go away. If you look at the way LGBTQ people are treated in the Islamist countries, they're going to go away. I mean, the idea that they're going to be protecting each other is hilarious. It's not hilarious. It's because it's so dire. But I feel I said this on the Ruthless podcast last week. I feel like this midterm, in what I'm hoping and praying for, literally praying, is that this is the revenge of the normies. I think finally normal people in America are saying, okay, you've pushed this too far. We weren't paying that close attention to politics, but you're asking to trans our kids. You're asking us to have our kids be educated by crazy people. You're willing to not protect our borders and have completely open borders. You're asking all these things of us, and now we're going to push back, and we're not going to take it anymore. So I'm hoping that the normies come out of the woodwork and say, we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore.
Well, what's amazing is that the left, there's a meme out there that people say, I was a classical liberal. Now, and this is the Bill Maher situation, right? Now he's telling the Vice President J.D. Vance that he may, his vote's up for grabs because the left, even after lurching left, is now going even farther with the socialism thing. And I just want to say, I think the whole communism, socialism thing, the Marxism, I think it's anti-reality. And I think there's enough deaths in the last century to see that. It's akin to if we said, okay, 49% of players in Halo multiplayer, since that's what you did, Marty, 49% of players in Halo are below average. Well, now that's just reality. We know that. But what if we made a promise to them that at the end of the game, no matter how they performed, everybody's going to have the same score no matter what? They'll be happy, right? And there are enough people who apparently don't understand this that think, well, yeah. And if you're in the bottom 20% or 30%, it's no surprise that you might say, well, that sounds fun to me. I'd like to be as good as the top 1%. The problem is we all know that what would happen is nobody would want to play the game anymore because there are no consequences. And that's the same thing that happens in the economy is once you bring everybody together and say equity for all, everybody gets the same stuff. Nobody wants to make stuff special anymore because there's no reason to do so. It's craziness, and we've seen for 100 years what happens when you try it. Death and destruction.
So was it Churchill that said the trouble with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money?
That's a perfect quote.
Yeah. And the thing is another way is here's a person who has earned and created something that's worth $500. I'm going to take your $500. I'm going to give it to 5 people who are lazy and have never done anything. Guess what? Now I have 5 votes for me and 1 vote against. So that's Democrat socialism.
Right.
Now, eventually you're going to run out of the people who are actually creating things because
that's Bungie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you see it over and over again, and it's a shame. And I think there are other, franchises and other companies that have fallen into the same trap. But as a country, we are not a democracy because a democracy is, whatever they say, three wolves and a sheep voting what's for lunch.
Exactly.
It's not this is not how we work in this country. We're a democratic republic that is constitutional, a constitutional republic with democracy mixed in. But the word democracy isn't even in the Constitution. So it's like people just the amount of ignorance about who we are as a country and what our government is astounding. But what I think people really, and I say this in my campaign because I truly believe it, one good job used to be enough to raise a family, to buy a home, to take a vacation. And that's what the majority of people want to have back. And socialism they might pretend like they're promising that, but they're not. They are anti-family, they're anti-meritocracy, and they're so full of jealousy and envy. And they think it's okay to say, that person has too much, we're going to take from that person, and then we're going to give to you. We're going to skim some off the top, of course. But like, why they're playing on people's worst sinful nature. And I am a total believer in that there's such a thing called sin. And by the way, pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. It's always cracked me up that pride is the big banner for the woke, because pride is a sin and envy is a sin. So to say that person has too much, I want some of what that person has, that's called envy, and it's a sin, and you should be ashamed of when you're doing that. So
very good.
I'm all for bringing back shame. I have no problem.
All right. The stockades will not be on the way, though. We can promise you that. Lauren, you've watched the destruction of gaming and what has happened in this woke era. As you watch studio after studio creator and game after game just be a shameful sort of exercise. We've watched Concord and Dustborn and all these, in fact, games that are being financially supported and engineered by these governments. Like one of those was bought by Norway, essentially, another by the EU. Lauren, what are your thoughts on what we've seen with gaming and how it correlates with entertainment at large?
I'm actually quite happy with where we're at with gaming right now because I think we're at an inflection point that is necessary. AAA has been cratering pretty hard for the last 2 or 3 years. A lot of that is because of their over monetization of everything, live service gaming, DLC, digital items that they sell on exclusive stores.
It's never going to let go of that horse armor. Every time it's the horse armor.
all of that stuff. And in the meantime, what you've seen happening is a lot of the talent at these studios have been going in and starting their own studios. Right now, I see the rise of AA gaming, and I see a lot of turmoil at the console makers. Obviously, hardware prices right now are through the roof. And so what I'm hoping we're going to see is maybe less intense focus on ultra-realistic graphics and more on gameplay. And failing that, if the market entirely craters, the last time that happened was '83 when you had a full market crash. But out of that, when Atari and Coleco and all of those went away, the Intellivision, what you got out of that was Nintendo and Sega. So there is kind of a natural flow of these kind of events, and I'm hoping what happens now is a correction that reminds these studios that when you get too big for your britches, gamers do find ways to entertain themselves. We'll go back to retro gaming, we'll go back to board gaming. There's ways that we can entertain ourselves that doesn't require us to continue to pay a monthly subscription.
Okay, speaking to that, Marty, let me throw this to you.
Yeah.
We're at a major inflection point when it comes to AI. Mythos and Fable that were just stopped by the U.S. government from being available for the time being. I think there's a plan to let Anthropic get that back on the market to some degree. OpenAI is putting out their Soul and all this kind of stuff out. Luna 5.6. These new AI systems that we've just reached upon, they seem capable, at least in the days that we had Fable and Mythos, to generate N64 style games in hours. I mean, like literally N64 games that I would think should take a team of 20 a year to do, or at least they once upon a time it was far more than that.
Yeah.
These can now be made in an hour or 2 hours. What are your thoughts about the powers of these systems coming out and what it means for the marketplace and what the government's role is in this?
Well, the genie's out of the bottle. There's no going back. And obviously we can't let countries like China actually beat us. So
exactly.
Unfortunately, we're going to, and I say unfortunately because there's a lot of unknowns coming down the pike, and these things are going to grow. As a federalist, I'm the kind of guy who says the federal government has too much power. We need to give more power back to the states. But there are things that the federal government is the only government entity that is big enough to handle some of these things that go across all 50 states and also have international implications. And I think AI is one of those things. The environment is one of those things. We also need the federal government for, our international and national protection. That's why we have a standing army, blah, 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 all the enumerated powers of the federal government. I think AI is going to have to be something that the federal government takes a really close look at. And I don't know what the answers are going to be, but I hope we have smart people, experienced people who are on the committees in Congress and can look at these things, which is why one of the reasons, this is an area that I'm very, very interested in helping be on a committee or part of a, some sort of discussion in Congress that's dealing with AI.
You might be one of the best that we could possibly send, and that's why you need to get the win.
Yeah, I got to tell you that's a little scary to me. I wish I had more experience with AI, but I'm probably, I'm better with technology than probably the majority of folks in Congress are. So I think it won't be. I know how to turn my iPhone on and upgrade my computer. So I think I got a little head start there.
You've got to be better than whatever senator that was that had the CEO of Google up there and asked him, "Is my iPhone tracking me?"
Yeah, but I think there's so many implications. There are implications that have to do with creativity and what happens to the artists and what is intellectual property and our without a doubt, the copyright laws are antiquated and unable to take care of handling some of the problems that are already cropping up because of AI. So I think we need somebody, as many people as possible in Congress, to be looking at this, the implications to, the livelihoods of people, intellectual property, copyright. All of this stuff is going to be part of what's happening in the future. But, we're not going to go back. We can't go back. All of us are relying so much on AI without even knowing we're relying on it now. It's unbelievable. So
I'll also throw in here, it would be nice to have someone who has actually created something artistic.
Yes.
That has stood more than one generation, helping to shape that.
So the guy who created, oh, geez, wow, that's horrible. I can't remember the name of the product. Anyway, another composer friend of mine who's an amazingly good game composer and just an incredible musician. I was talking to him the other day, and he's sort of like, I just sort of don't feel like writing music anymore. And I'm like, why? And he goes, AI is just sort of taking the fun out of it. It's like too many other people are doing stuff, and I just don't feel like doing it. And I totally understand what he's saying, because I'm not dabbling in the creative side, especially on music, of AI tools. Because part of me is just like, I don't want to do it that way. And part of it is like, I'm afraid of what I'm going to come up with. Like, am I going to end up liking something that I gave like 3 prompts to, and I like the piece of music more than what I would have come up with out of my own head? Like, I want to believe that won't happen, but I don't even want to go down that road, because it scares me as a creative to think that my whatever is unique about what I bring to the table could be surpassed by AI. So I don't know what to say about that side of things.
I had the blessing of being able to talk to someone who's an award-winning writer, and I got to visit them recently, and we were sitting there talking about all this, and she was talking about whether or not she got into the music industry at the wrong time. We've had this discussion before, but we talked about an artist that we both like, and going through all the particulars of this artist. And I'll just give you an example. Lawrence. It's a band that the father of these two, this brother sister combo, wrote on the show Family Ties. I really dig the sound. Pro and Lauren can tell you I won't shut up about it sometimes, how much I like this band.
It's back in the show again. Lawrence is here, folks.
Yeah. And there's a story there with how this came to be. And then if you find an AI artist and you don't know they're an AI artist, and you look them up and you go, oh, that was a robot. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Like there's no attachment there. And any of the great art, and you just talk about like Jaws, and the fact that the struggle of making Jaws is part of the legend of Jaws now. And when you watch The Lord of the Rings, and Viggo Mortensen kicks that one orc helmet, and everybody knows he broke his toe on that scene, so the scream is real. Like, if that was AI generated, someone would go, haha, that's neat, and then that would be the end of it, right? We'd be gone past it. So I really do feel like the human element of this in some ways is going to elevate a lot of art in a way that it hasn't been. There's a lot, we rag on Disney a lot on this channel. And the thing that bugs me the most about them at this moment is they've gone from a company that created great art that was also accessible to the masses, and now all they care about is the access to the masses. So now it may as well be AI generated, because it has no soul to it. So I think actual creativity is going to survive just fine, right?
I think you're right. I think actually real creativity is going to survive, but I think the delivery systems are going to change, because people are going to want to know, how do I authenticate what I'm consuming? And if I'm consuming AI slop, like one of your first super chat people was saying, you want to just throw it out. You don't care how cool it is, or even maybe how it made you feel for half a second, because you're going to go, oh, that was made by a robot. Well, then forget it. So you're going to want to go to a live show. You're going to want to go to a live show and you're going to say, I want to see this guitar player playing live. I want to see this pianist playing live. I want a singer singing live, not lip syncing, not playing to tracks, not being controlled by technology. You're going to, it might be smaller venues. It might be less whistles and bangs because you have to get closer and closer to the creative product itself coming from a true creative person. So I think that's going to change. I think we were sort of getting close to it with the amount of special effects in movies, where it doesn't matter what you see in a movie anymore. You don't come out of a movie saying, wow, I was blown away by those effects, because anything you can imagine can be done.
Right.
And so it's this graphic fidelity. You don't get blown away by that in video games anymore. Like Lauren was saying, it's not about like, it's 120 frames per second of the most incredible, super hyper realistic stuff ever. It's like, yeah, yawn. It's like, I didn't have actual fun playing the game, or there was that soul, the idea that there's a soul behind it. That's what people connect with when they connect with creativity. They connect with the soul of the creator with the soul of the consumer. And I think we're going to get back to that somehow. I don't know how exactly, but I think we are.
So let's talk about the soul concept for a minute, because I think this is one of the most important things that we're facing as a world over the next 5 years. So the idea of a soul is sort of an antiquated idea in the minds of many. But let's take it seriously for the moment. And let me just say, for the past decade or more, no human player has ever been able to beat the greatest chess software. I mean, the greatest chess master will lose to a computer every single time. Yet we are watching, if you watch chess, if you care about chess, you watch humans play chess. You don't watch software play chess. I think that's going to play out the exact same way in all of these domains. But we are building currently, some say we've already reached the point of artificial general intelligence. We are racing towards ASI, artificial superintelligence. We have to win that versus China. I mean, it would be a horrible situation for the world for the foreseeable future, maybe forever, if China were to win with ASI. And it comes down to why, what they might be programming into their ASI versus what the West would. And so what we have to be considering, and what our representatives have to be considering, I hope, is that we have battled for 100 years about what we're going to teach our kids in school.
Yeah.
The battle is, what are we going to teach the artificial superintelligence about us and about the human condition? And do we matter? Do we have something special? Is the qualia that we have in our everyday lives, is that worth protecting and saving, and et cetera, et cetera? And I worry, this is why we have to defeat woke. This is what the whole thing is about, why we do the show. We must defeat this postmodern neo-Marxism, because that cannot be the viewpoint of artificial superintelligence. Else we are in for a world of hurt, and the people who don't recognize the divine, infinite value of every individual should sit back and say, oh my, what are we building if we insert those views rather than every person is of divine worth? We need to make sure that's what we're teaching these AI systems going forward, or we face a very uncertain future at best.
Amen. And by the way, I had this conversation in DC with my campaign manager the other day. We were talking about AI and what to teach AI. And we both decided that what we needed is a "what would Jesus do" filter on top of the AI.
There is tremendous value.
Because if it's something else, it's going to be something else. There's going to be something else that makes these quote unquote moral decisions. So I'm all for it. Let's figure out how to get a Jesus. What would Jesus do AI, or a Jesus AI, because then we can at least go, okay, well,
we better be teaching it about the logos, and we better be teaching it about love and beauty. Right. If we don't get those things, we're in deep trouble.
Yeah, and you know what, AI right now, and this happened to me the other day. I don't know how many of you guys, if any of you have actually argued with your AI when you have a chat. Mm-hmm. I argued with this because I just wanted a simple answer to a question, which was the number of sex partners different groups have had historically in their lives. Sorry, I was looking something up. So yes, it turns out that gay men have the largest, number of sex partners over their lifetime. I didn't know where
that was going either. Keep going, Marty.
Okay, and then
your campaign manager's about to call us right now and say, "Shut it down! Shut it down!"
I know. But there's no value judgment here, right? So it listed, all the other people, heterosexual and gay women and the like. So that's what it was. So I said, to summarize and to conclude, AI chatbot, gay men are the most promiscuous. And the thing came back at me is like, well, no, I wouldn't use the word promiscuous because that has a value judgment and we shouldn't be making value judgments. And I said, now, wait a minute, give me the definition of promiscuous. And it did. It was like having more than one sex partner. And I'm like, okay, well, we're still just talking numbers. Why are you making the decision right now to tell me that using the word promiscuous is a judgment and a value judgment? And the AI is like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we can use that. But of course, the AI is trying to make me happy, so I don't trust it at all.
Right.
But
at some level, yeah.
Are we going to lose the words like sin and promiscuity and adultery? We're going to lose all those words. Are going to go away because, all those words have value judgments in it. And our AI should have no value judgment, and which means these words will actually leave the English language and the civil discourse.
We
and
must
I'm 100%
win
against that.
We must win. Who wins? I mean, this matters so much. I mean, it's astronomical how much it matters which AI frontier model takes the lead and wins. It's not just the U.S. has to beat China. In the U.S., we have a very severe disagreement about how we see the world.
Yes.
And that AI needs to agree with logic. It needs to agree with love. It needs to agree with beauty. And it needs to believe in truth with a capital T. And if it doesn't believe those things, we're creating a modern Moloch or something, some monstrosity. So avoid that at all costs.
Well, it's could be the Tower of Babel all over again. So let's see what happens. But I mean, I'm looking. I want the Jesus filter and the 10 Commandments built into the AI.
I think there's a story that in the Bible that when you think about the idea of generation here, Jesus in the wilderness refuses to generate bread from nothing.
Yes.
And, he doesn't say specifically why he wouldn't do this. A lot of the things that we could put onto that are interpretation of why he said, I'm not going to do this. He is not one, you could say he's not doing what the devil wants him to do. Another is that there is some value in the work of creating bread, which would have been a very strenuous process. Like it didn't say produce an apple, which would come from a tree. It was produce bread, which involves the grinding of flour, wherever you want to start in that process.
Yeah.
So, the idea of instantaneous generation, even Jesus, who has the power to do all of these things, he says, no, we're going to use it within the natural order of things. Like the idea of the journey of doing the task and doing the work actually has an effect on the person who is doing the work, and generally in a positive sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's excellent.
Folks, if you've enjoyed this conversation, if you'd like to support Marty O'Donnell and his path towards Congress and helping guide these kinds of major issues that the world is going to face, the U.S. is going to face, and we need the right kind of people to face them, you can go to martyforcongress.vote. Started to the old one. martyforcongress.vote, folks. Marty, final thoughts on everything we've discussed, from Bungie to gaming to woke to socialism to now the future of AI.
Well, you've heard this before. This is the most important midterms ever. It's like, yeah, don't tell me that again. This is truly, in my long, long life, this is the most crucial midterm election that I've ever seen. I think we can lose a country that is relatively young and is a young, fragile experiment in liberty and democracy, and we can lose it this fall. And so we need all the normal people who have not been paying super close attention to get out and go against the woke, go against the progressives, go against the Marxists, come out and vote. Vote for I'm telling you right now, there's only one party that's even close to the right side, and it's the Republicans. We got to keep the Republicans in power. The Democrats have lost their way. Look at the Democrat Party. Mm-hmm. They're eating each other up. And if they get back in power, it's just nothing but chaos at this point. So yeah, vote in come out and vote in the fall and vote Republican.
All right, Jonas, we've got more than 1,000 folks out there, and we've made them wait longer than usual for the super chats. Let's get our superstars up on the screen, sir.
As you can imagine, we've got a lot of super chats today. Kamshi for 5. I request, I'm going to say, Japanese government brain on supporting DEI. I think government should have just banned it as a scam, and Microsoft already made too many people angry.
Ooh, you're self-censoring. I like that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I know, what I do on this channel.
Domo arigato, Jonas.
Yeah, I would hope the Japanese government figures their house out. And then for 5 more, I worry for the government passing the Safety Act since it was supposed to be today. And if passed, we will suffer the same as the UK and increase censorships. The Safety Acts are dangerous because, obviously we all want to protect kids, but just like a lot of the Pride stuff, it's being used as a forgive me for this use of phrase, backdoor for other policies as well. On top of it, it's not a reclamation; it's a claiming of government power that is really inappropriate. Because once the government takes over something, they very much do not give it back.
I'll quickly add this. I know we've got a lot of super chats. It brings me no joy to say that Europe has fallen, but Europe has fallen. I've been to Europe. I love, the people, and we've got viewers all over the UK and all over Europe who tune in and watch, and we love them all. It brings me no joy that the leadership in Europe and the beliefs that have overtaken Europe have caused an economic crash. And the race now is between the United States and China. Europe is no part of that. And so where will the future economy flow? Where will the future wealth be? It won't be in Europe, and that's a very sad thing. But it reminds us that the Western ideals, that they are strong wherever they are, and that if they leave Western countries, there's nothing that says that those Western countries remain in a place of abundance. And so the quicker that Europe can return back to their values, the better. But I'm afraid even now that they're never going to catch up, at least not for decades, with where the U.S. and China are.
Agreed. If they can't even run their air conditioners right now without getting in the way.
We're going to talk about that, actually. It's crazy.
Joppy for 500 Swedish krona or crowns. Sweden is a monarchy. Sorry. Figurehead now, though. The parliament holds literally all power of government now, and the currency is SEK, Svensk krona, which means Swedish crown, is the currency. Kroner, crowns in plural. It's not hard. I know, but I do feel like we need to explain it for the those who are not up on their international currencies.
See, I think what the thing is and my mother was Swedish, so I think I get it. It's Swedish crown or Swedish crowns. If you're going to be saying krona, you need to say svenska. You need to also say Swedish in Sweden.
Marty, you have just won. If Joppy could vote from Sweden, he would vote for you now. You vote him over.
Joppy, congratulations on your excellent genetics. Thank you for the $50 super chat. That's very generous.
Thank you.
Tennille the 10th for $2. You mean communists are bad at business?
and the ones who promote it always think they'll be at the top. They'll be inside the castle. They'll be inside the keep.
Scott Westbrook, man, it was really great to meet Scott Westbrook. And Scott has gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships.
Scott, thank you, folks. We're not going to play as many clips because we have so many super chats. So to be kind and to be efficient with our time, we'll move forward. But Scott, thank you. And we will play for you this one.
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the one who's out of this world.
Mailard for 2. Jonas Lauren Wilton just made you magical girls. It's a blank super chat. I can't react to it. John for $10. The problem with a lot of these companies is, thank you very much, Mailard. I've tried to warn him that that's not a great idea. John's for $10. The problem with a lot of these companies is they can't tell the golden goose from the golden egg. Look at Disney. They acquired Star Wars, but spurned Lucas. They thought they got the best deal. We'll go back to John Lasseter over and over and over again. He was the kingmaker. It was a talent acquisition. Buying Pixar was $7 billion to buy John Lasseter.
Right.
And then Bob Iger said, we can do this without you. All we need is your IP. Well, that's all they have at this point is the IP that he created. And I hope you all enjoyed Toy Story 7.
I'll throw one more idea at you. What if when Disney acquired Star Wars, they had said, and we want Marcia. And what if they put Marcia in as a consultant, since she's the one who made the original two be what they are, and basically made the whole franchise? That would have been a good idea. But instead, Kathleen Kennedy and Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant, Leslie Headland, I don't think so.
Did you notice we didn't do a full story on the channel because it was so petty what Lucasfilm did? They said Marcia Lucas, who was one of 3 editors.
I saw it in garbage
on Star Wars. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up. To Neil the 10th for $2. Pete Parsons' book name will be How I Did It. Their acid or the acid member for 11. Marty, what was the influence for ODST's jazzy sound?
Joe Staten came up with it. Joe, the writers, wanted to do a film noir, rainy cityscape thing, and he said, "Wouldn't it be cool to have a smoky sax?" And or actually, he said smoky trumpet. He wanted Miles Davis, and I said, I like the jazz idea. I'll do jazz with smoky sax. So that's where it came from.
Was the rainy cityscape, was that a response to the fact that what was shown for Halo 2 originally, I think it's what was that? Was that at E3? That would have been at E3 back then. Was that a response that that the folks at Bungie wanted to deliver on that cityscape idea that never became part of Halo 2?
That was definitely part of the discussion. We really felt like we dropped the ball. We wanted more Save the Earth stuff in Halo 2. We wanted more action to be on the Earth in Halo 2, and we weren't able to pull that off. So that's because the whole last third of the game that was planned was going to be back on Earth, and we weren't able to do that. So yeah,
but that was the right call, though.
Yeah, Halo 3 ODST is like, yeah, let's do something that's on Earth in a city, and so we made it a nice gumshoe detective feel story about the ODSTs. It was a lot of fun.
But you would say that losing the Earth part of Halo 2 allowed you to release at the multiplayer window, and you became the first multiplayer game of that size. I mean, that Halo 2 was a whole new era of gaming.
Oh yeah, I mean, Halo 2, I think, is the reason why Xbox Live became so popular, and the things that we did in Halo 2 for multiplayer became standard in the industry after that. And a lot of those things came from the PC world, but we were able to get them as just
you mainstreamed it.
Regular part of what people played on the console. So that was great.
There's a great episode on Marty's channel on the Marty O'Donnell show. If you guys,
there we go. Let's plug that too. Good.
Yep. There's an episode with Max Hoberman specifically that is a really great rundown of the language that was basically invented on describing how online multiplayer should work on the Xbox. It's really great. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, Max was a genius, and he was underrated. There we go. Way to go. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, Max was one of my favorite. And of course, he was gone. He wasn't part of Destiny either. As a matter of fact, he was gone earlier than that. He wasn't pushed out of Bungie, though. He had other reasons that he needed to leave before Reach was done. But Max was a genius. I loved working with him.
Doge Pal for $2. Kamchi is in for a world of hurt. Doge Pal. Doge Pal is a fellow anime fan, along with Kamchi. So I'm thinking this is a word of sympathy, not a word of threat. So Joppy for 200 Swedish crowns. For the record, the current value of the SEK compared to the USD is 0.1. So 10 crowns equals 1 USD right now. While the value differs, Dansk krona and Norsk krona also means the same. Denmark and Norway. Scandinavia equals monarchies.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joppy. Great info for those who'd like to know. Folks, Joppy is a wealth of information.
Yep. Mailard for $2. Past Halo should not be more couch multi-friendly. Past Halo should not be more couch multi-friendly.
I'm
Did he
afraid to
mean
comment.
Could not be more couch Moses. Is that
Yeah,
what he means?
could, yeah. There you go. I think probably could. Mailard, if you want to clarify, you could try. But be cool, bud. Wolfle McGruffle for $5.25. Marty, I donated. Hey, Pro and Jonas and Lauren.
Thank you very much. Yes, you can go to the Marty for Congress page right now and also donate because I'm not. Remember, although I should be getting a piece of these super chats, I'm not. So that's okay. And by the way, you know what? I can't. It would be wrong anyway because I can't take any money from overseas. And it looks like there's a lot of people coming in from Svenska.
Wait a minute.
That's a very good
Jonas, have I been overseas this entire time and didn't know it? What's going on here?
I think he's maybe talking about
Who outed me?
Well, there is that one Nigerian prince we tried to help.
Oh, yeah.
Darn it, they weren't supposed to. No, I'm out of India.
Yep. And Doge, thank you very much. Doge Pal for $2. Marty, Marxism came from within Western society. Yes, an angry, sloppy man in Western society.
Who hated his family and hated God. Yeah, it was a response against the West, without a doubt.
Yep. There's nothing like having your bills paid for to create jealousy. Doge Pal.
There's that envy again.
Yep. Interestingly, Judaism and Christianity originated outside of West. It's true. It's true.
But they're foundational to the West.
Right. Well, that's not what we mean by Western culture. We're talking about today's Western culture, where it came from. Yes, Judeo-Christian Greek. I mean, it's just no doubt about it.
Right. The government prong is Greece. Some will attach Rome to that, and then Jerusalem is the ethos. So you combine those two things together.
Yep. Flying Dutchman for $5. Why are you streaming against FML with Vera and Ryan? Also, if you want to debate Marxism in video games, get Vera. She is an expert on it. We have a Monday show every Monday at 9 p.m. on this channel. And actually, I think it predates Ryan and Vera's show. But check them out. They're both very smart people.
We had Vera on the very last pro show. So, yes. Flying Dutchman, check out Vera. Dark was on the show the last time we did one. So she's an excellent guest and an excellent channel. Go give her your support.
Yep.
Just not right now.
No. Joppy for 500 Swedish crowns. The North, I don't know why people use West, South, or East, but never North, or originates from Asatron, Norse paganism, which is the faith in the MCU. No, wait, I mean Odin, Thor, etc. Odin and Thor, FYI. Marxism is also Western. Karl Marx was German, which
yes.
He had a breaking off with his brother Richard Marx, who says, everything I do for you. Karl Marx was the counterpoint. Everything you do for me.
You know, I knew Richard Marx, just so you know.
Of course you did.
And you, sir, are no.
And you, sir, are no Richard Marx.
I believe it. Yeah, you're right. You're right about Odin and Thor. They do own Wednesday and Thursday for sure, and Frigga has Friday. So Fall Hard for 20. Socialism is envy, but capitalism is greed. Just calls it like I see it. Stay humble. I would rather have self-interest fueling every citizen as opposed to government self-interest trying to hold on to power. Lauren?
This is a case where some Milt Friedman would be instructive, because the idea was that we actually shackled the greed of the individual towards an end that served the community, which is what socialism claims to do, but regularly does not.
Mm-hmm.
That's better than what I was going to say.
I'll tell you what, when I was in ethics class in business school and they tried to teach, they had Milton Friedman as the counterpoint to the corporate social responsibility thing. I was the only one that's like, Milton Friedman is right. You all are incorrect. Let the shareholders go home with their money and they can do their own social responsibility with it if they want to. You're stealing shareholder money by doing this. Anyway.
Once again, Milton Friedman, University of Chicago. I was in Chicago. I didn't know Milton, but I love Milton.
I was going to say Richard Marx. I think that's cool. If you knew Milton Friedman, I was going to be outright jealous.
You know, I met William F. Buckley, so be careful. I've met a lot of people. I've been around a long time.
There may be a clip on your channel about that coming up.
I think so. Yes.
Bonnie Gamester for $2. Nothing more dangerous than ignorant voters.
Yeah, true with that.
Ignorance is a danger in lots of domains.
Kamchi for 5. I'm not saying I hate AI, and AI is depends on how it is used, as it is a half-baked calculator with half of the functions. My concern is the resources it consumes. And then for $2 more, I'm going to give me a second on this one, Kamchi. We've already seen its effects, electric bills and electronic goods. Yes, gamers are going to hate AI in particular, looking at the prices of machines that are going up. We've never had a console generation go up in price this late in a cycle.
Well, it turns out those parts for the consoles and the PCs, that they're in need for AI. But I will say, when it comes to electric bills, the good news is that the U.S. government seems to be having these AI companies with their data centers self-power the data centers. So that does separate it from the traditional grid.
All right. Joppy for 200 Swedish crowns. There is no pure communist or capitalist nation in the world. Capitalism is inherently liberalist in nature, standing for an unregulated free market. Communism is a planned economy through a regulated, controlled market. Thomas Sowell points out I forget if it's in Basic Economics, I'm sure, the vast amount of government control that you would need to fix all of the prices on all of the products in an economy. And just price fixing for an economy of the American scale would create a monster of government bureaucracy that you could never get away from. And it would mean that someone in Washington would be capable of doing this. And that is the idea that a government would be capable is, I'd say, laughable.
All I can tell you is capitalism gave me my air conditioning and the studio is 68 degrees.
There you go. I got to comment on this one. Let's remember, we're not talking about capitalism and communism. That's not the thing. We're talking about Marxism, and we're talking about Western, which is us, the constitutional republic. So when you talk about capitalism in a constitutional republic, you're talking about free market capitalism that is controlled by a constitutional republic and a democracy. That it's completely different than just unregulated free market. We're not talking about unregulated free markets. So communism, Marxism cannot exist without the iron fist of government. You have to have a totalitarian ruling class. And that's every socialist state has turned into that. Every communist state has turned into a totalitarian ruler. That's the only way to get that done. We are a liberal, free country. Our philosophy is freedom. So it's a difference between slavery and freedom is what you're really talking about.
I agree. It's funny that capitalist is the Marxist word for free economy. And and capitalists looked at what Marxists said and said, it's so dumb what you said that we would rather use the word you've described. Often within this war of words that capitalists don't even care. Like, they're like, no, we'd prefer that this be exactly what it's like. Right. So John Wayne for $10 with Supreme Court justices like the treacherous Roberts and Barrett. Who needs enemies? States are now legally allowed to receive and count backdated mail-in ballots indefinitely after Election Day.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that.
It should be Election Day, not Election Month. So Doge Pal for $2. Lauren, no one can seem to define AAA or AA anymore. Automobile Association of America and Alcoholics Anonymous.
That's pretty good. I would argue that I see AAA as being like the major studios when you're thinking of movie releases. They have the big blockbuster releases, and they're also the ones aggressively over monetizing, where I would see AA studios as being those specialty movie studios that used to act as labels underneath the major studios most times. Those were things when you would get something like a Touchstone Pictures that were releasing more adult content under Disney, but without having the Disney label attached.
Let's say content for adults. I don't know. I'm more comfortable with that phrase.
Hey, Jonas, let's get the gifted memberships, and then we need to hit the next story. We've got a lot of super chats. We're 5 away from the goal for tonight. We'll go to the next story. We'll come back. We'll get the rest of Super Chats. And Marty, I need to know if you are sticking around for the next story, which is Supergirl, or if you need to head out. I know your schedule is busy.
Supergirl needs to have her teeth fixed. That's about the only thing I know. So I think I will let you guys take it from there. And I will say goodnight to everybody because, yes, I do have a lot of stuff coming up. I really
before you
appreciate
go
being
then,
on the show tonight. Go ahead.
Before you go, Jonas, do we have any Super Chats directed specifically to Marty?
Let me see. I think a lot of the here we go. Fortress Matamus for $10. Hi Marty, big fan. May I ask whose idea was it for Halo to have heavy religious undertones and allegories that permeated the story and your soundtrack? It was brilliant and profound. God bless.
So I will take issue with this. I don't think there's any explicit allegories going on in any of the Halo stories. Now, you have to look at, once again, the people who made Halo. You know, I'm a Christian, graduated from Wheaton College. My dad made films, and he made a film on C.S. Lewis. Joe Staten, the writer of Halo, was the son of a preacher. Marcus Lato was the son of a preacher, music minister. Jamie Griesmer went to North Park College as a Christian. Because we were Christian people, we maybe even disagreed theologically about a lot of stuff, but it was who we are. It's who we are as people. So it's almost impossible for those kinds of imageries and symbols not to come into a game that we all worked on together. But there was no purposeful allegorical thing happening in Halo. I think it's just it's the same kind of thing you can have in a lot of good movies or stories or books or whatever, where you can see if there's truth being evoked inside the story, you can tie it to universal truths. So that's what I would say. And I'm glad whatever you get out of it, I'm glad you're getting that. Some of that might have been just subconscious by all of us.
That's great. Retro Meister for $10. Anthem of the Elites. You will own nothing, have nothing, and you'll be happy. Also, hi, Marty. Love your work on Halo. I used to play Destiny 2 until it got political. Best of luck on your campaign run.
Thanks. Yes, I love that. About the Elites. Yep.
I'm going to say Strata for 2, Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell for the win.
They are my top guys.
And I think that is the end of the ones that are specifically for Marty.
Great.
Here.
All right, Marty, I've got a couple quick questions for you. Ready?
Sure.
Dual wielding, yes or no?
Oh man. I'm going to go to the non-dual wielding side. I think dual wielding got a little gimmicky. I enjoyed it for a while. There are times when I like it, but I think dual wielding is not as good as the classic.
Did you guys ever play around with the idea of, in multiplayer or single player, being able to carry the Jackal's energy shield as part of dual wielding?
Yeah, we did have that.
I take it was not
absolutely. Fun. It wasn't so much that it was not fun. A lot of these things, we tried all sorts of things, and we just couldn't somehow make it work, or it screwed up the balance. Every new little thing you add in, especially into multiplayer, it's just amazing how it's, the butterfly effect, right? You can add one little teeny thing, and it just, this is why, I'm a non-sprint guy, especially putting sprint in the actual structure of the original games. Those maps were made for not sprinting. So to put sprint into it just ruins everything. So I'm against sprinting. I sort of don't like dual wielding. I think having a shield that you could pick up from the Jackals, I think there could have been a way to make that fun and cool. But I mean, I think that I'm with some of the people who don't like some of the power-ups in Halo Reach. I wasn't a big fan of some of those either. I think it changed the flow of the game. I think the best thing about what Halo had when it really, really was working was flow. And that's a hard thing to get to. And
the flow was because of the melee grenade primary weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, the magic trinity there. Yeah,
that's right. You guys and your triangles. You know, you talked about the bulls earlier, and I thought, yeah, Mr. Triangles went and did polygons, and you had the anyway. Okay, Marty in Halo 2, you did Battle Creek and Coagulation. What's one other map you wish you could have brought from Halo 1 into either Halo 2 or 3?
Wow, that's a good one. I don't think we ever brought Hang 'em High back, did we? Was there ever a version of Hang 'em High?
Yes, there was a third party company came in and did one of the last expansions for the multiplayer in Halo 2. It's not worth playing. I apologies to those guys if they're watching.
Well,
but
it should have been us. If Bungie had remade Hang 'em High, that would have been fun. Some of my fondest memories was playing Rockets on Hang 'em High. So I would have loved to have seen that upgraded.
Damnation is also great, but because of the slippery physics, somebody was a masochist, whoever built that bridge. So please let them know on my behalf with the overshield.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right. Well, Marty, we want to say thank you. We could keep going, but we'll let you go because I know your time is valuable. Thanks for being here. It's an honor. It's a pleasure every single time. And we are rooting for you, sir.
Thank you very much, MartyForCongress.com. And I'll be back when you want me to be. So that'd be great.
Awesome. That'll be awesome.
All right.
Until next time, sir.
See you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, Jonas, we have coming in now, if he's ready to go, I believe we've got, yes, the camera has been turned on. He's ready.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
It's Andy Masterson. Andy, welcome aboard.
Wow, with James Brown.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Andy, did you ever play any Halo? Were you a Halo guy?
No, but
that's why we didn't have you on the show, Andy.
I probably would have had to say something to Marty because he did inadvertently cost me a lot of money because my son was hugely into Halo. I bought him so many Mega Block sets from Halo, it was pathetic.
Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll just we'll have you on the next time, hopefully, and you can get your comeuppance. All right, Jonas, we need to hit this next story. We got Supergirl, and folks out there saying, guys, when are you going to do the news? But before we do, we've got Super Chats being gifted. And Jonas, what do those say, please?
Let's see here. KB for 5. I think the show Tech War from the 90s kind of pretends some of what's going on, especially when Evigan character had an AI attorney. I didn't watch Tech War. Was that the Shatner series?
It was actually really good. I liked both the show and the novels.
Was that before? No. Quantum Leap with Ziggy. That was before, right? That came ahead of that one.
Yes. Yeah, yes. Quantum Leap was definitely before.
Ziggy, the first AI. Hey, Jonas, if you could, though, we've got to hit the gifted memberships, and then we'll come back to the rest of the Super Chats on the next segment.
But Wolf of McGruffle has my name in this one.
You can wait, Jonas.
Yeah. Solstice Studios gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships. That's amazing.
That's fantastic, folks. We're being a little bit sparing on the clips tonight, not because we don't love you, not because we don't appreciate it, but because we're behind and we got to catch up. Otherwise, this thing's going till 1 a.m. and we just can't do that to our friends on the panel. We'll say thank you, though, for sure. We appreciate you, Solstice Studios.
Thank you. Patrick Ganaway says, for 5, some wise man said, those who want safety and freedom will get neither. See, I should have read that while Marty was here, but also gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships.
You know what? I think we got time. The background has changed, and you know what that means. It's time for the clip for Patrick Ganaway. Why? Because Patrick says 7 seconds.
Chemical sunshine, professor says pay no mind.
All right, Jonas, with that out of the way, we're going to hit that super goal. I just feel it in my bones. But it's time, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to Supergirl because you won't believe what they're saying now about it. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And we're going to make it very unhazy for the woke access media. Get ready. Get set. Supergirl. You're not going to blame men this time, but they're trying. Supergirl is a super failure, and now they're claiming it's the guys who caused it. New York Times blaming misogyny. And the fans for Supergirl flop after disastrous opening weekend. This is hosted by Fox News. We would read the Gray Lady. We'd put the New York Times up, but it's behind a paywall. Instead, let's just have the five talk about it for a second.
The new Supergirl movie is getting super trashed by critics. The summer flick that opens this weekend is tracking for around a $200 million loss, and the reviews are kryptonite. Variety said it was, quote, so flat, it's super horrendous, and has the worst script ever. Some say that woke remarks from the movie star, Millie Alcock, have hurt sales like Supergirl is by.
I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all, if anything. But it should probably go both ways.
You could have written it, Greg. You should have.
I can't believe the reviewer called Supergirl flat. Haven't we moved beyond body?
Oh, Greg, get back onto Valiant Renegade. I knew it. But listen, misogyny is what the New York Times is saying. Fox News is mocking these people. Paul Tassi is joining in from Forbes. He says, what went wrong with Supergirl? Critical audience and box office disaster. Now, Paul is a little bit more covert in how he's doing this. But if we read it, it says there is absolutely zero way to spin the performance of Supergirl over the weekend. The film coming in below even not great expectations. Made $38 million. That's been dropped to $37, which I am very sad about because I had predicted 38, which meant I was right. 37 means I'm over the number. Less than a third of Superman, below all-time horrors like Morbius. It is a rarely rotten 56% Rotten Tomatoes critic score, B- on the cinema score, yada, yada, yada. So here are the reasons that things went wrong. Says picking Supergirl as the second film. That was wrong. Director Craig Gillespie takes the most of this blame from Forbes. Says if there's one person at the root of why the actual film is bad, not necessarily the decision to get there, it is director Craig Gillespie. But look how they talk about the writer. Anna Noguera. Look how they handle this, okay? Now, this is the lady who, she does not have the kind of portfolio that you would anticipate for a Supergirl writer. Here's how Paul Tassi handles it. She reportedly impressed James Gunn with her Supergirl script so much she's now working on both Wonder Woman and Teen Titans, which, folks, I'm going to tell you, might not come to be. Her take on Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow comic story may not be full of terrible dialogue. Yes, it is. But its structure, combined with the directing, get that, Gillespie, where you at? Get that, Gillespie. Combined with the directing is certainly something that didn't work well here. It does not help that in interviews she actively states things about the comic that simply aren't true. A fantastic script could have helped save this film, but a passable one didn't cut it. That is the worst that Paul Tassi will do. Just like the New York Times, he saves it all for the dudes. James Gunn takes the huge hit here as he deserves it, but it's a passable script. No, it's not. It's terrible. It's awful. And they're ignoring the most important thing that you have to know, ladies and gentlemen. You need to know this, because if you don't know this, then you don't know the reality of what's happening across the culture. That Park Place, I'm the author. Supergirl failed with surprising audience groups. American women and Chinese audiences abandoned Millie. Oh, Millie! The girls didn't go see Supergirl. That's the story here. If we go down, China, once one of Hollywood's most important rescue markets, appears to have been almost irrelevant. China is reported at opening at 1 million. For IMAX, it was only 250,000. We've heard it's even less than the million. Then, guess what? The international market's only 30 million overseas, but the second failure may be even more damaging from a branding perspective. American women, particularly younger women, did not show up in force. I would say they just didn't show up. According to Box Office Pro's domestic demographic breakdown, men over 25 represented the largest audience segment at 41% of ticket sales. Women under 25, this would be the Wonder Woman crew, right? This is who Millie's supposed to be pulling in. She don't need no man. Women under 25. Arguably one of the most important target demographics for Supergirl. Only 15% of the audience. 59% of the opening weekend audience was male. 65% was over 25. Women are the reason Supergirl failed. But Lauren, they don't want to say that. They can't say that. They can't admit that. Angry Joe is not going to come out and say, it was the women. The women stopped us this time. They didn't listen to your boy. They didn't listen to your boy. Sorry, it's a bad impression, I know. But Lauren, this is completely opposed to what they want people to believe. They're blaming the men. Women didn't go see it. Women don't care about this Supergirl.
No, and I mean, for those comic book shops that still exist, when is the last time that you walked into one and saw it teeming with women? Not to mention the fact that Millie Alcock was absolutely obnoxious during the entire PR slate for this movie. She drove what audience might have been interested away, and finally, people are allowed to not like things. You can keep screaming misogynist all you want, but we are actually allowed to decide, you know what? I'm not interested. This isn't for me. I have no interest in it. You're not entitled to my money. I'm not going to go. And that doesn't mean we're misogynistic. It just means you're not producing a product we want. And as consumers, we're not required to give you our money if you're not producing what we want. End of story.
Andy, yet Paul Tassi and the rest, they are not going to address this issue. They're not going to come out and say, women refused to see the film. They've got what went wrong. They've got the full list. They don't say, this had no connection with women. Women don't care. Lauren's exactly right. They keep aiming for the wrong demographics. This is a movie all about battling the patriarchy, and the patriarchy, for whatever that might be, did not let this down. It was the matriarchy that stayed home.
If they would make a superhero version of The Notebook, they might have a chance. My son and I went to see this, and
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I
saw it too.
I keep waiting for somebody to tell me where the great parts of the script were, because all I see is a James Gunn saying that he's not going to proceed until the script is 100% locked down. If this is his idea of 100% lockdown, he doesn't just deserve to be fired. He needs to be fired immediately, especially if he put this girl in charge of 2 other movies to flesh out her credits or whatever. I don't see it. I was very bored through the movie. There were a couple of things that I thought were okay. I could have done without, as I didn't keep count, but Gary reminded me that she actually vomited 6 times. You have one bathroom scene.
What a night.
She pees on camera. She eats stuff she eats stuff that comes out of the back end of a bug.
At least she brushed her teeth once.
This is
she did. You're right.
That's her idea. Now,
no, I didn't watch this movie. I didn't have time, and I didn't want to punish myself, so I didn't go. She vomits 6 times in the course of the movie, like that. I mean, even Joss Whedon punching Thor out of frame, he only does that twice in Avengers. Is it story driven? Is there some narrative consequence to her puking?
Yes, she's trying to. Yeah, she's trying to get rid of a poison that's inside of her, so she has to vomit in the face of her enemy.
And the other one was just from being hungover from her 23rd birthday party.
It happens, especially when you're not in a yellow sun. Unless it's the first Superman movie, in which case she was drunk in a yellow sun. But hey, who cares about continuity or logic here, right?
But there's no arc. She starts off in this spot, and then she ends up in the same spot, only sobering up for now. And she's gonna hang out with Clark more. The Lobo parts seemed to me that they were edited in afterwards. It didn't seem like it was actually part of the story. It kind of broke the vibe of things. Momoa's portrayal of Lobo, which I was really looking forward to, was somewhat a letdown for me. He did a good job, a decent job at it, but it wasn't the portrayal that I was expecting. In an age where we're looking at Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, do we really need messy girls on screen? And you want women, our wives, to take our daughters to see this so they can emulate that behavior? I don't know any mother that wants their daughters to behave like that. I don't know any women that want to behave like that. I'm sure they're out there, because we've seen the videos that are abundant with the manosphere people, and I hope that they're a small minority of just not very bright people that are engaging in these high body count activities. I was really hoping that I could find something to like about this, and I just didn't. I was bored through a lot of it. I did not like any of the characters. My son absolutely hated the young girl who's like that plays the Maddie character from the True Grit analogy. He was really furious. He texted me the next day. He said, the more I think about this movie, with a few plot points in it, the more I think about this movie, the more angry I get. And I was like, wow, I didn't even give it that much thought, but apparently it bugged him a lot more than it did me. And he's not a DC fan. He's just like casual. I think he's seen maybe one Batman movie and two Superman movies. But yeah, I'm looking at this thing. This is James Gunn's idea with everything that he's put out. Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, Suicide Squad, and Superman. Like, there's nothing. I'm sick of James Gunn. I'm tired of him. I had the same Guardians of the Galaxy quirkiness, the same Mad Max reject bad guys from Road Warrior, but cosmic. They're like a cheap ripoff of the Reavers that Joss Whedon created in Firefly. There's nothing about this that had me. There's no sense of potential cost that could happen with this. It's really a bad movie. And if I'm David Ellison, I'm looking at this thing and saying, like, if this is one of the tent poles that I want to hold this thing up on, this is not the guy to do it. He's a quirky guy. It's like taking John Waters and putting him in charge of your DC brand.
Right. Well, it's like saying that you order lemon Parmesan one night and then somebody says, well, you like the lemon Parmesan, so every meal that you're going to have is going to be lemon Parmesan, even if it's a fruit salad. It's sickening at some point. The question I have to ask, again, I did not watch this movie, so you've made a reference to some women that are notable for all the wrong reasons. Are you saying that Supergirl is in that industry or that level of profligacy?
Well, it's not stated, but she's crowd surfing. She's drunk. She's going to planets with red suns so she can get drunk and party. Now, what does that mean when you get blackout drunk? What happens when you, if as the father of a daughter, if she were going away to college and going to a party and getting blackout drunk, I would be very, very concerned. That's not when we see things shifting, when we see society shifting away from bad behavior, we see that church attendance is up in a lot of places. There's less drug use now. There's less smoking now amongst the younger people. It seems the younger people are learning the lesson of the generation ahead of them and saying, I do not want to do these things. I want to have a better life. I want to be a little bit more classy, per se. And she just gives this idea that it's not implicitly stated, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility. Thank God they didn't have her. The only person she had woke up next to was Crypto. And I'm happy for that, at least.
Let me ask you guys this question. Open to anybody who wants to weigh in. I think partly what has caused this collapse and women not going to see it, I think Andy's onto something. I think people are actually, they're sick and tired of the anti-hero. They're sick and tired of these characters who are deeply, deeply flawed. And they're tired of moral ambiguity. I think we've come into a space now where audiences want what we saw with Project Hail Mary. They want Superman to be super. And James Gunn has based this DC on a weak Superman, a deeply flawed Supergirl, and all of this moral gray. Man, I think he's misread the times, and I think the studios have as well. I think they live inside these bubbles, and they don't understand that what people really want right now, true heroes, real sacrifice, real good versus evil, and if it's hokey, that's okay. They want Cyclops, not Wolverine, maybe even. No, it's too far. It's too far. I won't say that. But guys, what do you think about it?
I actually would love a good Cyclops story, because Cyclops has not been done well on screen. Forgive, it's not James Marsden's fault, or Marsters.
No, he plays a great Cyclops. He's just got terrible material.
Right.
Lauren?
What they want is sincerity.
That's true too. Yeah.
People are tired of irony. They're tired of cynicism. They're tired of we call it Marvel humor or Joss Whedon humor. They're just sick to death of it. What they're looking for is actual sincerity and optimism. And we're in times where it's hard to be optimistic. I think that's part of why a lot of these writers write this way. But a lot of times it takes something to be inspirational and optimistic to pull people out of those doldrums and start having optimistic views, to try things, to push. And I think that's something that we're lacking in storytelling today. We need something aspirational.
Jonas, anything to add to that? Andy?
One thing that did bug me with this is she spends some amount of time being depowered in this on the Red Planet, and then she gets her powers back, and then she's out there. Now, the thing with Superman is, and by extension Supergirl, the slightest action would cause death. And she's out there slugging it away on these bandits or the brigands, whatever they're called. And then are we doing spoilers?
Who cares? It's a bad movie.
So she executes the bad guy at the end. She's a 23-year-old girl worried about the 12-year-old executing somebody. She's a 23-year-old girl executing somebody. My daughter's older than that. I don't want her executing somebody, no matter how bad he is. It's
with a focus on pain.
Yeah. And every slug that she's hitting these people with would be fatal. She's super powerful. She's going to hit them. The literal body count that she has in this film is probably in the dozens, if not more. And she's kind of like, oh well, they were bad guys. And
that's a great tagline. We're going to steal that from you, Andy. The literal body count. All right. Jonas, any final words on Supergirl and the fact that women have abandoned the franchise?
Well, I was actually thinking about this, and I was wondering, there's a song by the Guess Who that was later covered by Lenny Kravitz, and I think it actually holds really true. It's called American Woman.
Stay away from me.
Exactly. And that's what they did.
Mama, let me be. Jonas, was that the coolest way to end a segment we've ever done?
Well.
Okay. Lame. We should have just left it alone. Then it could have been cool. No, Pro had to make a note of it. Had to bring it out. Yeah.
Thank you very much for serving that up. I was like, I got to figure out a way to get that song in here somewhere.
You're welcome, buddy. Anytime you want to get a Kravitz in, we'll let you get a Kravitz in.
Yep. Sometimes I do want to get away, though.
Sometimes, Jonas, I just think of you as a beautiful stranger.
Kravitz is like so underrated. He's cool. Unspeakably cool.
Somebody's going to figure out the connection in just a minute.
Yep. 525. Jonas, you looking different is like when they recast the mom in Fresh Prince between the third and fourth seasons. That's true. Will Smith did not like my previous avatar, and so I felt the need to change it.
It's slapping now, Jonas. That's a slapping good avatar you got.
That's you keep that. I can't even say it. Dogepal for $2. Mixtape has blurred the definition of AAA, AA, indie, because it's government funded. Oh wait, no, not Mixtape. Mixtape wasn't the government funded one. Which was the one that?
No, I think it was.
Oh really?
I thought maybe
it's all government funded at this point.
What's the one about the trigger warnings and all that? We covered that so extensively on that Park Place.
It was.
Yeah. Archer Merchant for $2. Odds on who goes first, Gunn or Walden? Gunn. Gunn has a genetic predisposition to getting fired, as well as a melanin deficiency. Detailed Devil, member for 6. YTAI won't allow my comment on Red-Green Alliance.
Oh, that's interesting that it's picked that up. Okay. Well, that's one way to say it, though. Thank you for sending it in. I'm sorry that it won't let you, but we would probably have to be careful as well if you send it in. That's a tough one on YouTube.
Yep. Joppy for 200 Swedish crowns. Hate to break it to you, Pro, but professional chess players use AIs to train. They memorize its interpretations. Chess, in essence, has always been about bulk memorization, but creativity is gone because AI does theory better. Pro, I'm not even going to answer it. You go ahead.
Well, no disagreement on them using AI. Of course they do. I mean, have you ever played against a computer opponent? Well, that was AI. It's just the longer it goes on, the better it is. I mean, but we've been using, AI in video games. You all play like Halo. The Covenant is controlled by very rudimentary for for now, but back then it was advanced. But it's controlled by AI. So of course, my point was that what are we interested in terms of watching? We want to see human chess players play against human chess players. That's why we don't watch them train against AI. And I would suggest it's why you're more interested in the multiplayer aspects of video games than watching somebody try to complete, the single player, unless it's for the story and the experience of seeing them play.
Yep. Like I said, 4-player co-op panel. Kamchi for $5. Oh my, the kids' online safety bill has been passed. Everyone panic. We're going to embrace the storm that the UK had to go through. Okay, so this is what
I
was
talking. And we're going to be covering this tomorrow in the Pro Show. But yeah, the UK in the middle of the heat wave, and we're about to rip the UK government in just a second. That's why we're going to wait on that one until tomorrow. But yeah, the UK government has partially banned YouTube.
What?
This is actually talking about here in the U.S. There's an online kids safety bill that passed in the House today.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the UK government passing the thing about blocking YouTube for 14 and 15-year-olds.
Well, it's been nice to meet you, bro.
Hold on. My understanding is that it passed the House, but is unlikely to pass the Senate. So I think your fears may be overblown, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and Trump would not sign it. So, and folks, remember they always call these things what they actually are not, right? And because they give them these nice names, but everybody's in favor of kids' online safety. That's a huge, broad term. The specificity of what's actually in the bill is what we would disagree with. We're not in favor of forcing people to be, lose their anonymity online in the same way that I would tell you not to put your home address on your vehicle when you get out and drive on the interstate. That's a bad idea. So is losing your anonymity online unless you decide to do so, but you should have the choice.
Well then, Paul, 12,000 for $2. Rock Raid. What happened to Jonas? He's changed. You've changed now.
Same thing as Family Matters in season 9.
Yeah. Wait, what changed in season 9 of Family Matters?
The mom.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Fresh Prince again. Wait.
Well, yeah, Fresh Prince, now Family Matters, same idea.
Oh,
yeah.
Sparky Schultz for $2. Enjoy this 20,000 Jonas dollars gift. Well, that's redeemable for 3 gems at the Jonas store.
Jonas, I always said you were based. Now I'm starting to think you've been debased.
Jonas, Fall Hard 81 for $10. Jonas, read this unedited, and I'll do another super chat that has an extra 0.
Well, that's not ominous at all, is it?
What's your problem with the Mother Funka line from the Clones 8 Loyal song? Do you not like funk or mothers or both? I think you're joking, and you know why, but I'll answer it anyways. I don't like editing curse words to where they sound like curse words. There was a band that edited a word that happened to sound like a member of the band, and that band member's name was Mitch.
The O word?
The O word?
I didn't even know there was an O word.
An O word? A word? I don't know. I don't know what came through there. There was a word.
Oh,
anyways.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'm trying not to sound like it. I'm also not trying to sound exactly like it. The thing is, we've got audio only listeners that aren't reading the subtitles. And the first time I listened to it, it was audio. So I thought, oh, they said the line, but they weren't saying the line, but they said the line.
And that's why here on this show, folks, we do it this way.
Commander Cody, the time has come, homie. Execute Order 66. I'm still alive.
See, Jonas, I clipped it even earlier than usual for protection.
I'm still alive, brother Jonas. All right. I think that is the end of the super chats that have my name in it. Spring 91 Bear for $2.50. Vote for Charlie.
I love it. No, not that Charlie, Jonas.
Oh, not that Charlie?
No, the Charlie, Mr. Kirk.
Vote on behalf of Charlie, yes.
That's right.
One Magical Girl Pro for $2. I hope everyone has had a sparkly magical day. Look at that.
Jonas, you got to read it with the voice. You got to do the unicorn voice. You got to say, I hope everyone has had a sparkly magical day.
I'm not sure I can do that voice.
Just watch Miss Rachel.
Yeah. To Neil the 10th, 4-5. Wait, Alcock. Oh dear, what an unfortunate phonetic last name for a self-styled Mary Sue Bearminch. That only just occurred to me. Right. Well, I was made fun of for the way I phrased something within our internal messaging service on what we were going to be covering. And that's when I caught on to it. Detailed helpful for $2. Microsoft requires late ballots. MS. Wait, MS. What is this? Which state is MS?
Minnesota, I'm guessing.
That would make sense. It's like Maine is like ME or something like that. MS requires late ballots postmarked by Election Day.
Is that not Mississippi?
Mississippi, that would make that.
I thought Mississippi was the weird one.
Well, they wait. You know, they.
No, I thought it was like MI or some. No, that's Michigan. Oh, darn it.
No. Every time somebody tells me to wait, they tell me to wait 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
2 Mississippi.
Anyways. Grimlock say watch Project Hail Mary. Great movie for $10. I don't get to see you live much anymore. Just wanted to say I like Jonas's new avatar, but it's not nearly as impressive as Pro's new avatar. Agreed.
By the way, Mississippi is MS, which is also unfortunate. And Minnesota is MN. Michigan is MI. Which one are we looking for?
Maine.
Well, Maine is ME.
Right.
Maine is ME. Maryland is MD. Massachusetts is MA. Michigan is MI. Minnesota is MN. Mississippi is MS. Missouri is MO. Montana is MT. And that's your M's for the day.
There's someone whose mother took a lot of Tylenol during pregnancy that really appreciated that and probably wanted to jump in and complete it for you. Sponge Boy Me Bob for $10. Movies were just bad movies. It doesn't need to be political. We could all just collectively laugh at them like Battlefield Earth or Batman and Robin. Hey, I love Batman and Robin.
Both are better than Supergirl, and not by a little.
Yep. To Neil the 10th for $2. Andy, not so, sir. Gunn should be fired from a cannon.
Or should he be fired from canon?
And if Zack Snyder was there, he would film that in slow motion.
With a song.
Paul, 12,000 for 2. Which was better, this or ye old 80s version? I'm going to say, I haven't seen the Helen Slater one, but I'm going to say it was better than this.
I'm with you now. Okay, I got you.
I'll take the 80s version. At least it's corny and it's a little campy, but at least it tried to be a hero movie.
It's got to be better.
R.R. Smith for 5. So grateful to not being a Supergirl fan. Well,
as we all are at this moment.
You know what? They should have. They should hire that one girl and do a Power Girl movie. Rowan of Strata for 10. I just thought of something. With a loneliness epidemic, you'd think Hollywood would make pro-romance movies, stuff that's encouraging to folks, but that's giving folks too much credit. Folks? Yeah.
Well, they've decided that if they ever do an actual romance movie, they send it straight to streaming. That's the whole play there. But yeah, all the J-Lo stuff, all of the romantic comedies, those are all gone. And Jonas referenced The Notebook. Or was it Andy? I don't remember which one of you guys referenced The Notebook earlier, but those kinds of films, they don't make them anymore. Or if they do them cheaply, and they still survive in Christmas form on Hallmark.
Right. With the DVD market gone, they have no reason to continue doing those kind of films, and you got to fight for them now. I don't know if the what's the guy's name, Regé Jean Page. I don't know if his film did well enough for them to continue making those. And then for $2, actual romance, not infidelity romps. Yeah. Well, those are popular too for a different reason. John Wayne for 10. Exactly. Myself and everyone else I know are absolutely done with immoral, degenerate, narcissistic, and nihilistic Hollywood slop. And Hollywood wonders why so many of us are cheering for AI to replace them.
As long as AI doesn't replace us, that'll be okay. But there still needs to be a human behind whatever is happening. The authenticity needs to be there, the human experience. And this is something I need to... we're working hard, folks, to find an AI expert who will come on the channel with me. AI has never felt pain. What, Andy? What is that?
That's a bad robot right there.
It is. In pink. There you go. AI has never felt pain. And that means as much as you might think, or they may think, that AI can replicate the human experience, if it's never felt pain, it's all theory to AI. And if it's never felt pain, it's never felt joy. And if you've never felt pain or joy, you have no idea what reality is for human beings.
It's an interesting thing. It's like at church when they every now and then someone will lead the offering, and if it's someone who still lives in their parents' house, you just have to chuckle when they talk about sacrifice. Archer Merchant for $2. Watch Citizen Vigilante. Shouldn't have a ban, but Germany doesn't like it.
Well, they don't like a lot of stuff. We may talk about that too. Europe, the European leaders are destroying their populations.
Mm-hmm. Planet AB for 5. Sorry, it's been so long. But here's to the new faces, team.
AB, we're just glad to see you again. Welcome back. Come join us. We're here Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern and Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. And folks, next month, we've got a new show. We're going to be announcing, get ready, more stuff coming from the Pro Channel.
And I hope that Planet AB is there.
Oh,
John,
yeah.
For 100 Swedish crowns and then a 50 to follow. I mean that professional chess players aren't really thinking for themselves anymore when playing. They're just mirroring what an AI showed them in every move and counter move. That's interesting. That's actually very interesting. Part of why Magnus Carlsen quit was because he was tired of the reliance on AI. Huh. That's fascinating.
Yeah. It's hard to say because at the edge of everybody's, so let's say they are memorizing it to that degree. At the edge of your memorization skills, that's where the thinking occurs, because what happens is anytime we're doing something that's novel, we are actually using, our conceptual abilities, and we're trying to integrate that into a habituated form of behavior. So when you're riding a bicycle for the first time, everything is new. You're paying close attention to it. The 50th time you're riding a bicycle, all that has been habituated into a pattern. And so with chess, if they're learning from AI, you're right. 50 steps out, that may all be habituated from having learned it from AI. But at the point at which it becomes something that they no longer know exactly what they should do, and that would be the edge of your abilities, and that always happens, that's where thinking through the neocortex has to happen.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. One magical girl pro for $2 panel. I've DM'd y'all a link to my music video. Sorry, I think MTV is closed for the night.
Charlie, we can't wait to hear the song. No, you guys are just going to steal my kidney again.
Rowan sounds oddly like Seth Rogen. Rowan has spent $2. MS Mississippi, MO Missouri, and Missouri loves company.
And now you know.
Mexican Iron Man member for 38 months. Jonas, turn your camera on, lol. I'll do that. I'll make a deal with you. I will turn my camera on if you show up to one of the conventions that you've said you'd show up to, Mike.
Wait a minute. Did the legend just appear? Mexican Iron Man? Folks, we don't do this very often, but when he shows up.
I thought that chicken tacos are better than the rest.
Are you ready for perfect, authentic Mexican cooking just like your mama used to make? Come on down to Mexican Iron Man's Rabbit Chicken Tacos and Lawn Care Services, where not only do you get the freshest in Mexican cuisine, but you also get a fresh cut lawn. And don't forget to check out our second location, wherever the police have not yet run the van away from.
Mexican Iron Man, rabbit chicken tacos, lawn care services.
And if you think the cilantro tastes very fresh, it's no accidente, amigo.
Well, look, there's our... Hey! That's not enough! Oh, you tease. You tease.
Detailed Devil for $5. Pursuit of Jade, historical romance series on Netflix made at no cost. Film set, Hangdian, China. Lovely heroine throws karate chops to be humane pork creator.
There you go. And an economy of letters yet again. Can I say when it comes to Netflix, though, folks, please save yourselves from the latest Avatar. It's unbelievably awful. Like, I'm not even going to cover it on the channel. There are lows that not even I can go to, and we're not doing it. It's just not worth it. I could rip it apart. Just put that thing to bed. Leave it there.
The itinerant wrench comes back with racist accusations. And then for $25, thank you for the commercial ad run. Well, you're welcome.
Hey, we're trying to get those rabbit chicken tacos moving again, man. We're here for you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Rowan Estrada for 10. Even in the film Macross Plus, they needed to plug a woman into the performing computer, share an apple to supply it with emotions. That's another y'all need to watch. Very Top Gun like. I haven't seen this one.
Lorne,
I was just trying to remember the Top Gun scene where they plugged a woman into a computer, but
we're gonna work on the phraseology in the future. I'm just going to tell you guys.
I'll tell you that.
Lauren, is it true that you're looking forward to the rebooted Bourne Identity?
It would be something to see, would
Is that going to be starring Rachel Zegler?
No, the rumor is Zendaya.
Oh man, I thought it was the girl who played with Pedro in the little video game show. What's that one?
The video Last of Us.
Bella Ramsey, is that her name?
That's mostly a QuickTime event posing as a video game at this point, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Detail Devil for $5. My concise cryptic style may trace to high school trying to program old Altair 8800 1K toggle switch computer and later Trash 80 with whopping 4K RAM.
Did you know that on the bottom shelf behind me is an old Atari system that I have to remind me of how far we've come? So it's always behind me. I don't know. I'm not going to scoot this time, but it's back there, and you'll see every once in a while I'll twist in the right angle. And also, Andy Wilton, the action figure you've made for me, is hiding behind that Atari, always staring, always lurking. He is.
All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Detail Level for $2. I may have begun with scientific calculator, 200 bytes of RAM. SRAM. Sorry.
Oh, that's the fancy kind of RAM.
Yep. Let's see here. Joppy for 200 Swedish crowns. The famous 60 Minutes interview with Magnus Carlsen when he was still young. He exemplified how it's about bulk memorization when he said he remembers over 10,000 whole variations of games at the time, at TBE time. That theory is gone.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the same thing is true with speedrunners for Mario, the original Mario Brothers, right? They've broken that down. One more increase, and they've done it. They don't think they can actually improve on it anymore. And so we're seeing that. And of course, that was figured out with AI. Like what is the maximum, the best that you could possibly do speedrunning Super Mario Brothers from 85. So we're seeing that across a variety of things. That's exactly right, Joppy.
Mm-hmm. And, oh my goodness. First of all, Fall Hard still came through on the 100, even though I overpronounced the word Funka.
You still did it right. Don't take it away from yourself, Jonas. You did so well. Fall Hard, that is amazing. We appreciate you, truly. I mean, that is incredible. Thank you so much. And Jonas, I think we should play a heck of a clip for that one. For $100, what do you say, Jonas?
Yeah, I think we got two incredible clips we're going to be playing, so just keep that in mind.
Ooh, there's another one on the way. All right, here we go.
A blindfolded half-court shot that is now the talk of campus and beyond. on tape?
Yeah.
You are kidding me.
Wow. Wow.
What else is happening out there, Jonas?
Blah, blah, blah. Gifted 50 WDW Pro memberships.
Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you so much. This one's for you.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
Oh, Joe Miller, you just found the marble in the oatmeal. You're a lucky little boy, because you know why? You get to drink from the fire hose! Okay, you ready? Yeah! Open wide!
At least that's what I hear.
Wait, what?
Let's go!
Jabba, right?
Oh no!
It's a Sarlacc.
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
Guys, this is one of, if not my most anticipated game of the year. Anything that's got me going pew, 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 you know, sign me up.
I gotta say, the concept of this is enough for me to go, I might even pre-order this.
Anything that's got me going pew, 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 pew. Sign me up.
You know, the one girl, too, I mean, I don't know how she makes her mouth be that. I don't even know how you do it. It's crazy. And then who in the world is sitting there like this from a game and then kind of, like, who? Why? Why would you do that? That's not normal human behavior. How did these people become influencers in any way? So strange. So strange.
Who spits into their own mug?
We'll be playing that clip for decades to come.
Rowan Estrada for $5. Lauren, if you've heard of Robotech, Macross Plus is part of that.
I have heard of it.
Arch Emergent for $2. Bets on if Ruffalo fails out faster than Pedro P. Yeah, I saw the clip of why Enrico, whatever his last name is, that's the director of Gatto, talking about how Mark Ruffalo was chosen because he loves cats. That's why he was chosen for that role.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
And he said, I have to say yes to this role because I love cats.
There's nobody else in Hollywood, no male figure, who loves cats more than Mark
Ruffalo. That is the most left-wing coded thing that I could have heard without it being a blatant political statement.
Cat lover.
Joppy for 50 Swedish crowns. Theory has always been a core part of chess, but AI is eradicating it, which is what made him disillusioned with it.
It's not the first time that's happened, in terms of this experience. This actually, you can follow this to almost anywhere. World of Warcraft, for example, was a lot of people, what they're remembering when they think back to the classic days of World of Warcraft, they're missing back when things were theory crafted. And what they don't enjoy is, now, later versions, let's set that to the side, but what makes it hard to go back and have the same nostalgia is that now people know how to min-max everything. They know the best strategy flat out. But the joy that people have when they're learning something new, and you know this as well, if there's a sport that you've picked up and you became disillusioned with it later on, many times it's because you got as good as you were going to get at that sport and you moved on from it, right? Everybody has sort of a maximum place they're going to get, and then they get waning returns for every single input they give to it. So if you pick up tennis as a sport that you want to play, there's going to be a place where you get to where suddenly you're not getting the same kind of returns. And then you say, well, tennis is kind of boring me, and you move on to something else. This is a major experience, but I understand it. And that flow that we get into, that we talked about earlier in the show, that flow often comes from stepping into the territory that's unknown, at least to you. Maybe other people get it, but stepping into that territory just between order and chaos, where order is what I know, chaos is what I don't yet have explored and mapped out in my mind. If I can exist on that boundary, then I'm having a great time, and I enter that flow state that's psychologically intense and meaningful. Well, if everything is order, right, then everything becomes sort of burdensome to continue exploring because I know every place that's there. There you go. Good thoughts, Joppy.
But also, order is why I like 2D RPGs more than I like 3D RPGs. So, Sponge Boy Me Bob for 5. Saw Mando and Grogu wishes recently. It's clearly several episodes strung together into a movie, and not even good episodes.
Jonas, I just want to warn you, every time you put up SpongeBob Me Boy, I'm going to say, arr, 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 arr.
Sponge Boy Me Bob, 1999 to be.
Arr, arr, arr.
And then Archer Merchant coming in for $2. I love cats. Someone tell him put me in the sequel.
I disagree. It was a bad movie, Archer Merchant. We'll never watch Cats again.
No, it is talking. I think he's talking about the animals.
All right, Jonas, I know you got to be heading out. We're going to do me and Andy and Lauren for the next 2 topics, and then we're wrapping this thing up with a Q&A, because the folks out there have earned a Q&A with their generosity. But before you go, Jonas, tell us what you got going on in your world.
Well, tomorrow I won't be on the Pro Show. I'll be helping with something that I don't know. Eventually, y'all will hear more about, maybe related to things we've talked about on this channel. And you'll be seeing me at Southeast Game Exchange. Oh, wait, you won't, but I may be there lurking behind everyone.
All right, Jonas, you said it. You brought it up. You tell the folks about it. Southeast Game Exchange, July 17th to the 19th, Greenville, South Carolina. What is it, and why are you going to be there?
Well, Southeast Game Exchange is the first official panel appearances of many of your That Park Place favorites, like Lorne Connor, WDW Pro, and Marvin Montanaro. Also, there's some more people like Real Life Fake Wizard that are going to be there. I hear Gary Beekler is on the attendee list for the con itself, and Critical Drinker also.
Yep.
Around those parts.
Force of Light will be there.
Yep. And one Mr. Valiant Renegade also going to be there at Southeast Game Exchange. Be there and be square. At least be aware that you may be square.
And congratulations and thank you, Valiant Renegade, being shared out yesterday by Jack Posobiec, who has become aware of Valiant on X. You might say that could be the next place Valiant goes. Kudos to Jack Posobiec for retweeting his show. 14,000 viewers concurrent yesterday for Valiant Renegade as a result. Amazing, Jonas.
Mm-hmm. I just have to put Douglas Nutt, member for 16. When will Andy make a Jonas figure? He's already made a Jonas figure, though.
Really? We have the Ewan head?
Yeah, on the Scoob.
Oh,
wait, not on the Scooby. I believe I was Shaggy.
Row.
Yeah. Although I do
Although
have the capability.
We have the power.
Joppy for 50 Swedish crowns. Jonas the Goat of RPGs is a 2.5D game. FF7 forever. I will never forgive Square Enix for leaving the Super Nintendo behind, so I have never played. Well, one time I started playing FF7.
Jonas.
I would rather go back and play Final Fantasy VI for the dozenth time.
Jonas, let it go, man. Let it go. Play Final Fantasy VII. You're going to regret that you didn't do it sooner. Andy, what do you got over there? What are you making? What is that?
I'm going to leave with this on the panel.
Look at that little culture guy. Look at him. He's ready to fight bad guys, raise kumquats,
With
do all the amazing
magical
things.
golden hoe. And he's going to have a purple potato bolo that he can.
Ye old golden hoe, you say. Wasn't ready for that one, Andy. All right, folks, let's dive in. We got 2 stories. We're going to do back to back. Then we'll get the Q&As on the end of this thing. Thank you for a great show. I know it's going longer than usual, but Marty O'Donnell was here, and we wanted to spend as much time as we could. I think you're going to be happy that you stayed with us, because we're going to talk about things we don't typically go to on this channel, but they're amazing, and we're raving. The news is big time. UK and Europe have dove. They've dived. No, I'm being told it's dived. You darn semantical ninnies making me say it the right way. They've dived into censorship. But folks, the good ship censorship is not taking them far, because Europeans are finding out that this heat wave killing thousands across the continent, well, it's avoidable every single day. Polymarket says this just in. German public broadcaster begins anti-AC campaign, warning of the dangers of air conditioning as record heat wave hits the region. Reuters reporting it this way says, record heat wave disrupts Europe as France warns death toll to rise. Now, you could say, Pro, this channel is not about such things. And you're right. This channel is about media, entertainment, and yes, the news organizations that the media owns. And in this case, I'm just here to tell you, Europe is under a cloud of censorship, the likes of which we have not seen. It's like China has descended upon the West. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's costing lives. We'll show it to you. Reuters says French health agency reports 1,000 excess deaths. They're dying because of summer. Temperature records hit in Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, and Austria. Extreme heat causes disruption to transport, power generation. How hot is it? It's 104. It's 104. And that's in parts of Europe. It's not in all of Europe. So what is it that's killing everybody at 104? I mean, Florida is 104, you know. I mean, Nevada does 104. Like, what's killing? Arizona, you guys are laughing about this. Why is 104 killing people? Well, GB News has this. Britain's ordered to remove air conditioning from homes in 40 Celsius heat, that's 100 degrees, under net zero crackdown.
Morning. Yeah, it's a little bit of a day out for me. It's very hot here. 28 degrees here in Brighton, and it's going to get hotter as it is everywhere in the country today. And there are, as you say, this red extreme heat warning in a large part of southern England and creeping into Wales, from London all the way to Swansea, from down in Somerset up to Birmingham. And that's not the only red warning in place today. We've also got the UK Health Security Agency red heat health alert as well in place today and tomorrow. That's only the second time they've ever had to issue one of these heat health alerts, a red one, because how hot it's going to be today, and it's only going to be getting hotter. Now, these red alerts mean that...
Okay, so it's hot, and they won't let them get AC. But folks, what if I told you it's not even close to as hot as it's been, and this is completely and totally avoidable? The media is spinning this a completely different way, but if you go to Wikipedia, it says 2003 European heat wave was the hottest summer record recorded in Europe since at least 1540. So 23 years ago, it was way hotter. How hot was it? 117 degrees was recorded in Europe in 2003. And how would I know to go find this? Because I was in Europe when it was that hot. And I thought at the time, well, I bet they're going to start installing air conditioners here. 23 years later, they didn't install air conditioners. They won't allow it. And they're censoring stuff because people are figuring out that the boogeyman Americans who have air conditioners are not as awful as they thought they were. New York Post reports Paris officials blame Americans and their air conditioning for Europe heat wave that has killed 1,300 people. You got to be kidding me. Europeans, though, they're all over America right now. And this is breaking down the censorship efforts where they want to say this is a record-breaking heat wave. It's not. They want to say it's driven by climate change. Maybe, probably not. And they want to say that air conditioning makes you sick and it's going to add to the climate change. It's definitely not either of those. But Europeans are all over America because they're here for the World Cup, and that's breaking down the censorship efforts. Video after video after video, and you've seen them online of people experiencing Buc-ee's and cool frigid air and free refills, and they're saying, wait a minute, this is the evil America we've been told about on the BBC and every one of these other news organizations across Europe.
They have the craziest thing here in America. So it's blazing hot outside. But look at this. I'm going to step into this establishment and it's chilly. It's hot outside, but when you step in, it's like a winter's day.
All right, so guys, thoughts on the idea that the media, you know, and the politicians in Europe are battling right now, having air conditioning. Europe right now sounds like a place that is not in the modern era. 90% of homes in America have air conditioning, 10% in Europe do, and the media over there is pretending this is some sort of debatable thing. I've had people tell me, bro, you know, Europe only has hot days like 8 days, 12 days out of the year, so it doesn't make sense to have an air conditioner. I'm like, well, if the air conditioner costs $200, a little air, you know, little window unit, if it costs $200, which it costs less in the US, but $200 in Europe, and you get to use it for 10 years, it's like $1 a day. That's a pretty good investment, I would say, especially if it stops grandma from dying. Guys, this is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard, and it's media censorship at levels that are just absurd. What say you about this craziness?
Well, if you let yourself be controlled to that extent, and we've got it in California, we've got it in my state of New Jersey. They went last year and closed 6 power plants. Now my monthly electric bill is $700 a month. because they thought that wind farms would pick up the gap. And it's like now it's going to be 104 degrees here on Wednesday and Thursday. But they're so in on this thing. Greta Thunberg, I need to ask her a question, because from what I understand, if everybody did the whole Paris Accord things, instead of in 100 years, the temperature going up 1 degree Celsius is going to go up in 108 years. So we're spending trillions and trillions of dollars to give ourselves someplace we're going to get 8 years later. If it's real, why aren't they spending that money building seawalls instead? Unless it's just a scam.
Instead, the rich people buy the beachfront estates.
Yeah. And I'm sure that somebody can do carbon offset things so they can have their air conditioning.
Oh, in the age of AI, in 15 years, we'll have whatever the carbon thing is figured out. You know what? You want to stop carbon? Plant some more trees, Europe. You're missing trees. You remember you mowed them down after the Romans came to town? Plant some freaking trees again. Don't just depend on the Amazon. You've got this. It says from, let's see, this is Peter Haig. Real reason that Europe is cracking down hard on social media is that they don't want returning football fans to talk about Buc-ee's. Now, this is only halfway joking. There are videos everywhere online of Europeans discovering America, and that it's not the place they've been told it is. It's actually like crazy luxurious. Remember, the UK would be the 51st state in the United States if we were judging on wealth of individual households. Yeah, it would come in under Mississippi. Europeans have not, they don't understand, many of them, and they're stuck there listening to the media, and they've fallen for it, and they've been invaded culturally and all these kinds of things. And now the UK, this effort to censorship YouTube and these other social media platforms, I'm telling you, it's because they don't want young people to find out, well, Dr. Jordan Peterson is out there, and they don't want to find out that Buc-ee's is out there. They're terrified of this. Look how these people are responding to the idea of abundance in America.
I tried it. So we're going in. Jenna's going to have to show us what the goal is. Oh, it smells delicious. A full grocery store. I'm so overstimulated. There's so many people in here. A basket. She's a tourist. Candy. I'm gonna get some mango slices. We're on a road trip, by the way, to our teammates. Treaties. Fudge. This is what everyone gets when they come here. Cool. Salted caramel ice cream sandwich. It's like candied nut. Yum. They're warm. Oh, it smells delicious.
Right behind me is the world's biggest gas station. Only America can make a gas station an attraction that everybody wants to come and see.
I'm not sure what we're going to expect in here, but let's go see what we can find.
Guys, I wasn't expecting this. It's like its own universe, and we've already gone in on the food.
Oh, it looks so good.
I couldn't help myself. And the guys behind the counter, like, they do a sing-song.
They even have beef jerky. How much do you think this is coming to?
$70. Look at that truck. Oh.
That truck's insane.
Does that mean something else? Okay, so Gavin needs him a hat to protect this little bald head of his.
So it's video after video. This is all, guys, is this all over your timeline? This and Europeans discovering air conditioning? It's everywhere on my timeline.
Yeah,
there was a story. I'm sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
No, it's been a lot of fun to see. I think that actually having the World Cup here is one of the best things that we could have done for America's PR. That didn't really require a lot of effort on our part. You know, it's like just come here. We were welcoming and I had a lot of people that did cross-cultural exchange. I think it's amazing that they're going to go back and hopefully report on what they found here.
Well, the economy here, I mean, it's the levels are astounding how much better it is in America than Europe. Now, we love our European friends. We report this with regret. I don't want to tell you that your countries are failing economically and you need to come to the United States, and don't listen to the news that's constantly negative about the U.S. You need to go to some of the best places in the U.S. and go back home and say, why can't we have that? Why are 1,000 people dying and we're being lied to that this is the worst heat wave ever when 23 years ago it was 10 degrees hotter? Why are people dying? Because it's summer in Europe. Like, this is not how first world countries should be. But guys, the point I want to make here is, isn't it amazing the power of the media? The power the media has. The media in Europe and the censorship combination of the governments has made it such that Europeans don't understand. And you would have thought this was impossible in Western countries, but here we are. Here we are where comparisons are being made to like the USSR, and we're saying, hey, to our European friends, you don't have to live like this. There's a better way. This is like 100 years in the past for us. We're not doing this, and you don't have to do it either. And the fears that you're going to destroy the world because you put in a $200 air conditioning unit in your window is crazy. Like it's you are living in a conspiracy world at that point. Like get the little AC unit, and then the governments are saying to them, you can't have an AC unit. But the government officials, they live in air conditioning.
Pro,
Yo.
can I share a video?
Lauren, I've been waiting for this for years.
We have to remain under 7.
Whoa, what is this? Are you trying to get me copyright struckified?
That's why I was starting to ask. We have to remain under 7 seconds, right?
Typically under 5.
Yeah, so I would move ahead to the 6-second mark then.
All right, we're moving to 6 seconds. Hang on. 6 seconds exactly. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
That's what this reminds me of. That's what this is all about. They have created a religion that they are slavishly adhering to
their own deaths.
Yes, and that's why this World Cup visit was such an amazing thing, because they had in their mind that the U.S. was this hellscape that they desperately wanted to avoid. And when you see the interviews with people in the U.K. who are estimating that they would be in like the top 5 or 10 states and realizing that actually you would be the 51st state in terms of economic output, that's something that they almost can't process. So...
Right. Okay, here's another one for you. You ready for this? Guys, I've got a stat that's going to blow your mind. And this is true, folks. Don't trust Pro. Don't trust me. You go look it up and you go see if it's accurate, okay? And then you tell me in the comments. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You tell me. Ready for the stat, guys? More people die in Europe from heat than Americans die from the boom booms that are all in the news all the time about the violence with the bang bangs. We can't say the word, folks, on YouTube, but you know the stuff that you hold in your hand and it shoots a little pew pew out, and we don't like it. We don't like when that's used to harm people ever, never, never. Well, guess what? More people die in Europe of heat, of the weather than that. And I'll guarantee you that almost no Europeans know that stat, because all they hear is America is a dangerous, dangerous place, when in fact, Mr. Blue Sky is taking out more folks in Europe than the GUNs ever did. Andy, final thoughts on this one?
I watched a video this morning Adam Carolla had shared, the comedian, and it's some lady, I'll send it to you fellas, but she basically was saying that there's so much of this stuff that has been coerced because of things like, a certain shade of guilt that is perpetuated on people, and getting them to do things that, for the sake of being like you're a responsible person, being doing your part, and all these, and they've bought into this so badly. It's the same thing. I think you had talked about this today with just build another power plant. There's
just build one.
France has been running on nuclear power for the last 40 years. 80% of their power comes from nuclear power. The days when you have, all right, let's not put it on a fault line on a volcanic island, Fukushima, and let's not play around like they did in Chernobyl and do an experiment that blows things up and makes that part of Russia glow in the dark from the space station. But it's going to happen. We're going to get into this, and it's funny though, because it has certainly showed their hypocrisy when they were all against it until big tech needed it for power. Now they're kind of backing off it. Bezos is backing off it. Gates is backing off it. All of these alarmists that were saying, oh, we have to do these things. But I think Elon Musk is the guy. He's going to start pushing this stuff because he's a futurist. He's someone who sees where we want to go. And you need power to do that. And if they aren't going to go with petroleum-based products, because eventually we'll run out of it, we do have to find a new source. But as you said, Pro, artificial superintelligence will probably end up doing that within the next 10 years.
Yeah. Why die from the heat, folks? Buy a $200 air conditioner. And for everybody in Europe, all the officials who are stopping this, you all are just terrible, awful anti-humans, because human life is precious. And the idea that you think we're some sort of virus on the earth and that's how you act, give me a break. I mean, this is becoming a anti-existential geography on the planet, with these people who want to be infiltrated by cultures that do not appreciate them. They want to regress. They want to stop progress. They want to make sure that their peoples suffer, and they seem to enjoy it for some deranged reason. And so, folks, we say the economies are moving away from Europe, and this is the danger of censorship. It could come to America next. We must be on the watch all the time for entertainment companies that own news organizations who try to manipulate what you see and what we know. Any of those departments of truth, those ministries that we saw in the last administration, those are super dangerous with a capital D. Folks, we need transparency, and free speech matters. It's the antiseptic to bad ideas. I don't know how much longer the Pro Channel will even be available in the UK, but at least for today, we're happy to say to our friends across the pond, it's not too late. You got to get this thing turned around. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be painful, but it's better than dying because it's summer outside. Seriously. MSNBC is in total collapse. They call it MS Now these days. And now they're cutting away from their programming. The budgets are being slashed just like we told you. And why? Because Barry Weiss over at CBS, they're taking over CNN and the ratings are already increasing. Fox, of course, continues to dominate. And MS Now has no way forward. This out of LA Times. MS Now anchor Alex Witt to exit network as it reduces live weekend programming. This by Stephen Battaglio. Veteran MS Now anchor Alex Witt is leaving the news network, which is moving away from live evening programming on weekends. That's right, it's all going to be prepackaged stuff. According to a memo from MS Now President Rebecca Cutler, the Weekend Primetime, a live discussion program launched last year, will have its final airing this Saturday. One of the program's co-hosts, Antonia Hilton, will take over Witt's midday shifts later this year. Hilton's co-host, Eamon Moya, I don't even know, Catherine Ramble, and Elise Jordan will remain with MS Now and continue to appear on other programs. Cutler says job losses from the moves are minimal and encourage staffers who lose their current roles to apply for 40 current job openings at the company, with more on the way, as they say. But guess what? It's not just that show. It's a lot of stuff happening. Adweek reports that MS Now cancels the Weekend Primetime and is changing the full weekend schedule. Now, why is this happening, folks? Why would they be doing this? Well, what if I told you that the drop in viewership now is making MSNBC, MS Now, completely irrelevant compared to the new media? You're watching the new media right now here on YouTube. Martin Holmes, writing for TV Insider, says MS Now, CNN, and Fox News ratings show jaw-dropping swings. What's he talking about? Well, let's show you. It says Fox News led in total day viewing, averaging 1.5 essentially million total viewers, 140,000 demo viewers. Demo's what matters. And you'll see that it says that in primetime, Fox had 2.2 million total viewers and 202,000 viewers in the demo. Demo is people who buy stuff from the ads. What about MS Now, though, and CNN? Well, if we go to MS Now, look at these numbers. MS Now in primetime is averaging 900,000 total viewers, not even a million. And remember that they count all the people in the assisted living places, in the hospitals, and the airports, so they get every benefit they can. They still can't crack a million. But here's what's amazing. In the demo, the 25 to 55, in the demo, 87,000. Less than 100,000 viewers. Now,
One
CNN
might say
is...
they're MS then.
MS then. CNN is slightly better. But can I remind folks of what we're witnessing right now? If you go to Friday Night Tights, which is hosted by Nerdrotic, 213,000 views 3 days ago. 2 weeks ago, 216,000 views. This is consistent. That is double. No, I'm sorry. That is more than double what MS Now averages in the demo. And I will guarantee you that the vast, vast majority of the viewers of Friday Night Tights, with our good friend, Real Life Fake Wizard, and our good friend, Gary of Nerdronic on there, and so many others, this is more than doubling legacy media. So when you hear that MS Now is canceling, cutting, slashing, and nudging their talent elsewhere, when we hear that Barry Wise is taking over CNN and the ratings are going to rise, just like we said it would, understand. These are dinosaurs and the meteor has already hit. The new media has conquered. They just don't want to admit it. They still get their fancy institutional shows and galas and galas and gather together at the banquet. And the new media really doesn't do that, and that's okay. But Lorne, their time has already faded away. They just have yet to accept it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, their credibility has been in the toilet for quite a while, and I think people have felt that they are disconnected from their values, and what they've been reporting doesn't match up with what they're seeing in reality, and so they're turning to sources that they trust, which is kind of why people are going to the new media. It's why you see people in our chat tonight. They're coming here because they see what we have to say about the culture. They trust what we have to say, or at least I hope you trust what we have to say. And they'll also be visiting those that are in our sphere and making their own determinations. There's greater choice. There's the ability to give direct feedback, which is something that the legacy media doesn't have and that I think they underestimate. And that's all really powerful stuff. You actually do form a community.
Andy, they've all predicted that Barry Wise would destroy CBS News. That didn't happen. 60 Minutes ratings actually went up under her. They got a little mutiny going on. They said she would crater CNN. CNN is on the rise, just under the belief that she's going to take over. MSNBC is collapsing, and that's what they love. So, Andy, everything that they have promoted, everything that they've said would happen, it goes the opposite way. And I think it speaks to what Lorne is saying, that I hope that the reason people come to this channel is because we're to the best of our ability accurate. And when we audit ourselves, when we put people in charge of doing audits of our accuracy, we turn out pretty darn well. I'm going to say that most people have decided the mainstream media, the legacy media, the MSNBCs, they don't have any type of accuracy whatsoever. In fact, they're like the Jim Cramer of modern events. Andy, is that why folks have left in droves, and now channels like Nerdrotic have far greater ratings than MSNBC?
I think that they've done this to themselves because they're so inauthentic. They're so blatantly biased, or so they lie through the teeth, which I think has caused the hunger for authenticity, where you want to go to someone who is going to give you an authentic opinion. And plus, with the growth of the internet, you can look up so much of your own information that's not just coming through certain sources. You've seen for years how biased things are. For example, whenever there's a political scandal, you can tell by the headline whether or not it was a Democrat or Republican, because if it was a Republican, it's featured prominently in the headline. If it's a Democrat, it says a mayor was convicted of corruption. It doesn't mention the party. And they've done this, through omission over time. And yeah, Fox does it as well, but there's only Fox, really. There's not much there. Plus, I also think that there's so many examples on things like Twitter where people can let you know what's happening immediately. These days, I remember several years ago, we had a small earthquake here, and I went on the news sites. Nothing had anything yet at the local news sites, but Facebook was like, "Hey, did we just have an earthquake?" And that was back in 2010, something like that. So people have learned that, like, if you want news and you want it accurate and you want it, because you see a whole video now. That for years they did the little video snippet. They just showed you the part they wanted to see, but they didn't show you the whole context. Now you have people on X that will share their own videos, and you can see the whole thing, and from start to finish, and not just some edited clip.
And that's why I believe censorship is falling apart as well, even in Europe as they try to crack down on it. But the media here, they operated sort of in a monopolistic way. They wanted to make sure that the orthodoxy was the only thing allowed. They would not give time to anybody who disagreed with them. And ultimately, they've been defeated because their predictions did not come true. Folks, that's why you are finding new sources, and we hope we're one of them. MS Now, MSNBC, truly at the edge of collapse, now cutting weekend programming, live programming, and switching their weekends instead to pre-programmed slop It's not hot, but it's what they need as their budgets are slashed to bits and pieces. All right, Lauren, we've got 10 super chats, but while I read these super chats, if you would be so kind, we're going to collect these Q&As. Folks, all you got to do is type in Q&A in the chat and then write whatever you would like as a question. We're going to take the first 10. Lauren, grab the 10, and I'll grab 10 super chats. Here we go. From Rowan of Strata for 5, did Germany read the H.P. Lovecraft story Cool Air and think it was nonfiction? Yes, it's a horror story about AC when it was first invented. If you can believe it, no, that's actually true. There are many, many, many Germans, maybe the majority of Germans, who think that air conditioning creates foul air that makes you sick. Really. Grimlock say, watch Project Hail Mary for 5. I would have to think that they don't have the electrical capacity to run those air conditioners. They need to build more power infrastructure. That is a possibility, but then you have to ask, why did you abandon your electrical needs? Why are people dying because you did not invest in your electrical grid? Well, who's to blame for that? The politicians think it's very convenient to say climate change. But as we showed 23 years ago, it was way, way hotter. And nobody said, we need a better solution to this. Joppy for 200 crowns, dropping to 1 out of 2. IIRC, they discovered in Sweden some years ago that cutting down trees in bulk also helps the climate. I could be remembering wrong, but the point is that nature always seeks balance. As for climate change, it's a fact. Joppy says for 50 crowns, it's just not clear how it's having that warming effect as a final result, so knowing how to solve it is still unknown. Most people agree that trees capture carbon, so the more trees you have, the better it is, although that's not the case necessarily in an isolated small area. We're talking about a worldwide effect. The other thing I would say is that in the future with AI, in the next 10, 20, 30 years, we anticipate that there will be technologies that come forth which will allow us to do carbon capturing at reasonable prices. And at that point, the whole thing is moot anyway. So I'm not a doomer. I don't think the world's going to collapse. I don't think the apocalypse is here necessarily. At least I hope it's not. And it's certainly not going to happen because somebody installed a window AC unit. Archer Merger for 5. Objectively, I think this is why indoctrination becomes obvious when there's an administration that says don't discriminate against your own citizens. Whenever people tell you that you're not allowed to rank order cultural ideas and ways of viewing the world and interacting with the world, folks, you know that's propaganda because you know in your own family that you have family members who do not interact with the world and have bad beliefs in the right way. So consider that at mass when they say you're not allowed to judge a culture. Yes, you can. You judge your own. I hope so. Detailed Devil for 499. COVID lockdowns cut. Help me out, guys. What's the word here? What's the acronym? Help me out. It slipped my mind. I'm having a senior moment. I think not. Let's see. What's the term here? Shorthand for nitrogen oxide. That's what I thought. Okay. Nitrogen oxide emissions disrupted atmospheric self-cleaning. So CH4 or Channel 4 record surge can't win for losing. Feed cows sushi, red seaweed, cut their farts. There's not a single cow on this planet that's raising the climate change with their farts. I'll tell you that right now. Magic farts are not increasing the temperature of the earth. It's just not happening. And how do I know that? How does Pro know that cow farts are not increasing the temperature on the planet?
Because it's a closed loop system.
That's true too. But also, Lauren, how many bison roamed North America before Europeans settled North America?
447,928.
False. Hang on, I'm going to ask. Let me ask AI. How many bison roamed North America before settlers? AI says 30 to 60 million bison. The bison are bigger than the cows. 30 to 60 million of them. 30 to 60 million bison didn't raise the temperature of Earth, and neither are the cows. Bonnie Gamester for 199, we saved Europe and the United Kingdom with World War II, but they did not recover. The UK did not. That's a very sad thing, and it's something the history books don't talk about very much. The UK sacrificed much to stop Germany, and part of that was their dominance. And I wish that had not been so, but leaders in Europe exacerbated that in the last 30 years. Irate Specialist for 199, now they are blaming the USA for their heat wave. Well, who else are you going to blame, right? Jobbing for 100 crowns, 1 out of 2. U.S. did not save Europe to save Europe. Well, no. The U.S. saved Europe to save America. I mean, ultimately. In fact, they didn't want to get involved because it didn't matter to them if Germany won. What? No, that's not the case. They came up with the concept of giving an aid package as a loan. Joppy, at the time, Roosevelt was very concerned about the United Kingdom falling, the Anglosphere falling, and was pushing. Now, the other problem is if we operate in the abstract, we run into situations where we make a claim, and countries with hundreds of millions of people had hundreds of millions of different opinions. But in terms of the executive branch with Roosevelt, they were deeply concerned about Germany. We've got Joppy for 200 crowns again. Reason they joined World War II is because U.S. was blockading Japan. So Japan hit Pearl Harbor, which the U.S. government knew would happen but did nothing to prepare. No, I don't agree with that. And because of Pearl Harbor, the U.S. got dragged into World War II involuntarily. If that were the case, Joppy, the U.S. would not have put all of their Navy in that one location. It was too devastating, and there was no guarantee that they could come back and win the war. That was never a given. So it's conspiratorial and gets into the level of not a great way of seeing history to think that the U.S. knew and allowed all of their Navy to be destroyed in Pearl Harbor. Pamela, any thoughts on that? Okay, good. All right, here we go. Q&As. Lauren, read them for me.
When will you be watching The Gate? I finally got to see the film, and I quite enjoyed it. Some of the best effects work I've seen, and trust me, that's saying something.
I've got The Gate I have to watch. I've got Young Washington. I've got the Ben Franklin movie that came out that nobody watched, but I'm going to watch it because I've heard it's still good. And then I've got this action film that's banned in Europe that I'm going to watch. So we got a lot of stuff to watch. The Gate probably next week would be my best guess. I'm trying to catch up. And this week we've got Monsters and Minions. Wolfle the Crime Dog McGruffle. Lauren, read it, please.
Why can life be so hard sometimes?
Well, because there are difficulties in life that when you overcome them, you will become a different person on the other side of them. That doesn't mean that you want them to happen. It doesn't mean that you enjoy the suffering. However, you will discover that on the other side of that, if you are able to withstand it and come out to the other end, however painful it might have been, you will be a much, much stronger person. Now, does that mean that every person wants to be traumatized and go through tremendous and awful, terrible things? No. However, the amazing thing is that if you voluntarily, now I mean that voluntarily, accept the cross that you are going to bear, and what you will find out is that you will become the kind of person that others look to in the future. And that I think is the reason for suffering in the world. The reason for suffering is if you voluntarily accept it and bear it and carry it, then on the other end of it, you will be something that you could have never been otherwise. Consider the movie WALL-E, where the characters have no difficulties at all. Everything is provided to them, and they turn into infants. Part of growing up is learning to deal with the pain and the sacrifice and the responsibilities and all of those sorts of things. But in the middle of the storm, and some of those storms are terrible. I've been through them. You've been through them. Others will be through them. In the middle of those terrible storms, it's no fun to be there. But we have to remember that blue sky sits behind the gray. Paul 12,000, Lauren.
What is your least favorite Weird Al song?
There are some really bad ones.
I think he did that Amish one. I think that was
Amish Paradise?
Yeah, I think that was.
That's your least favorite?
I don't have the whole. It's been so
discography
long
in front of you.
Yeah, it's been so long since I listened to Weird Al. I mean, when he would do all the Michael Jackson ones back in the day, that was like they would make major news. So unless they were like, I can't say that I ever went out and sought out Weird Al Yankovic, but
I'm going to say Airline Amy is a really bad song. He would admit that. Let's see. What else would I say? Of the ones that are known, I would probably say, what's the Lady Gaga one? What's the Lady Gaga one that he did? Born This Way. He changed it to Perform This Way. I don't like that one. Yeah, okay. So Airline Amy and Perform This Way. I'm going to put those in my least favorite ones. There you go. All right, Lauren, next, what do we got?
What are your top 5 comedy films?
Oh, man. Andy, start us off.
Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. I'm on a Mel Brooks kick here because he's a
100 years old.
Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Caddyshack, and it's gonna be a tough one after that one.
I'm gonna have to write this down for me. This is tough.
I'm going to say Airplane, The Naked Gun, Noises Off, Without a Clue, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Man, I needed more time, guys. I've got my top 3. Okay. Let me go. Let me get my top 5. I'm going through all the comedies. Oh, would I put? Oh man. Yep. Okay, I've got it. I think I've got it. I may change my mind later, but this is my top 5. Number 1, the original Ghostbusters. Number 2, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Number 3, Tropic Thunder. Number 4, Dumb and Dumber. Number 5, Happy Gilmore. Lauren, you are judging me harshly right now.
I was judging the last 2, yes. When does a government get so bad that the people need to rebel? Because it feels like it needs to happen in the UK.
I don't have a good answer for this one. I don't have a good answer except to say that I hope things can be resolved in a peaceful way. But it does feel like in the UK, it's reaching the point where, when people are dying for ludicrous reasons and they're being censored and their media is being controlled, this is the kind of question that goes, there are a few times when I feel like there's somebody more qualified, but in this case, somebody is more qualified to say. There's somebody who's thought deeply about this for decades. I don't have a good answer other than to say that it's getting close.
What's your all-time favorite action figure?
Oh, man, what an Andy question. He's the kind of guy who has his all-time favorite action figure. Hold on. Let's get the full screen. Tell us about it, Andy.
So when I was growing up, Mego had the license for all of the superheroes. And so I've got Captain America here. He's missing the gloves, but he's got the shield, which is really hard to find. When I was growing up, my Captain America and Falcon Mego figures were my favorites. And fortunately, I was gifted this by a good friend of mine. Saw it somewhere and was like, I got to get this for you. Now, I must say, in modern terms, my Hot Toys Endgame Captain America is pretty much hard to top for me.
Lauren, favorite action figure?
I don't really know. When I think back to action figures that I had that I sort of wish I still had, I'd probably go back to my He-Man collection, I think.
I'm going to say the TMNT 91 movie action figures where they made them out of rubber and they looked really, really accurate to the movies. Those were really cool action figures because they switching it to being rubber pieces, I think, made it look like they were just the tiny versions of those turtles you saw in the movie. So,
can we run a Star Wars D&D campaign? I have ideas.
Lauren, should we get Wizard on this?
When we got together, he was actually showing me some stuff that he had done in the past that was really phenomenal. Whether he has the time to run such a thing or not, I don't know.
You and Wizard in charge of a Star Wars D&D thing. That could be cool. All right, Archer, we'll let you know if we work on that.
Favorite foreigners in the U.S. for the World Cup stories?
The girls who tell Americans they don't know what it is to be hot. It's bloody hot in Birmingham. They have to take a cold bath to cool down in the summer in England. That's a pretty good one.
There was a guy going around with he had the cowboy hat on with a British accent, and he was just saying how he's been over here for business, and he tries telling people how great it is, but now they're starting to agree with him because so many people are putting their opinions up.
Yeah, I think the curtain has. I think it's fallen now. It's amazing that Europe had to have the curtain fall about what America is really like. But, I can take you to bad places in America. We all know where those places are. But 90 to 95% of the places in the U.S. are wonderful in comparison to just about everywhere else.
I also want to give mad props to Scotland for drinking Boston under the table. Is there anything to be concerned about as a result of Toy Story 5's success?
No, I don't think so. I think you should actually take some courage in that in terms of the direction of Hollywood, because partly what's driving that success is the Jesse and Buzz story. I said this in the review, and I don't. It's not a popular opinion, but I think it's going to be proven true over time. Women love this film, and women love this film because, one, it connects with the way that they play with their dolls, and whereas it would be very silly for a man to name a child after their toy, unless you did so, in which case it's a genius idea. Way to go! But for girls, if they had a little dolly that was named such and such, they were actually oftentimes role playing being the mommy, and so that there's something powerful in Toy Story for girls in Toy Story 5. Now the question was always, okay, the guys are going to stop showing up for this movie, but can it do what Inside Out 2 did, which is the same thing? And the answer to that is yes, it can. But it could not do if it was woke. Remember, they stripped out all the woke stuff from Inside Out 2. And in Toy Story 5, it's not Jessie and some other girl. She's not a girl boss. It's Buzz. It's Buzz Lightyear is, that they get married. That is it's a reference to a heterosexual relationship being something that girls aspire to, that's something they should want. And you got Taylor Swift marrying her little football guy, and she's the one singing the song at the end. And so I would say that this is a previously male franchise that's been made for girls, but it's not like in the way they did with Star Wars, where they said, well, the guys will lap it up. They'll like it too anyway. They don't care. In this case, they said, we're kind of going to let the guys go. This is going to be a girl movie. And that's working okay for them this time.
When will we know the schedule for the Southeast Con in July?
So I just found out most of it. We didn't have the dates until Friday, and so probably Wednesday this week we'll make the announcement.
That's it for the Q&As. It's all you know.
All right, folks, to the Super Chats we go, and let's see what we've got here. Member from our Aurora Uplinks. Aurora, it's so good to see you. Member for 30 months. I want Lucas to do a special edition of the holiday special. Lauren, I don't think that's going to happen.
I think Lucas's version of the holiday special would be eradicating every copy that ever existed.
And it's never been released.
What would you do with a special edition of the holiday special?
Release it in 8K. Give that an 8K update. We've got Joppy again for 50 crowns. Lauren, the man who knew too little. It's a lovely comedy.
Yeah, and I would also throw out there, it's like if that's your vein, then you could do Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Man with Two Brains.
10 Little Indians. Yeah, Man with Two Brains. There was one other I was thinking of. Slipped my mind. It was a Steve Martin movie. But, yeah, all of them are good. There's lots of great comedies out there. It's hard to restrict it to 5. And I noticed mine is a really Michael Caine heavy, which I wasn't thinking about beforehand, but that man is hilarious.
We've got Wolfle McGruffle for 503, an extra super chat to say thanks for Pro's answer and thanks to the panel and chat. Well, Crime Dog, thank you. All right, folks, it's time to say goodbye, but we'll be back in record time, noon Eastern tomorrow with a special guest you can't miss. Yes, again, we've got somebody who's going to be a big surprise. Hang tight, we'll get there. Until the next time, make sure that you go over and subscribe to everything Annie Masterson does, including Overlord DVD. That's the Doomcock channel. And check out Lauren and Apollo Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern. Folks, we'll see you real soon. Take care. Be good. and make the world a better place, it's your task to do so, and you'll feel better engaging that way every single day.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.
Now, wait a minute. We don't normally break back in, but Lauren, what is this? Fallhard says, what about my 100? We put the 100 up there, right?
Yeah, we did.
You know what? I think what Fallhard wants is a proper outro based on 100 smackrolls being given. Something, Lauren, that would put a smile on everyone's face beyond just the normal outro. Shall we?
Absolutely.
In that case.
Commander Cody, the time has come, homie. Execute Order 66. I'm still alive, motherfucker. Riding in the gunship, me and my squad. Thought we was day ones, now they coming into